Welcome to Senpai, your new home for immersive manga, manhwa, anime-inspired novels, and fantasy audiobook stories. Here, every episode brings you into a world of overpowered heroes, revenge arcs, cultivation journeys, virtual reality games, monsters, magic, and emotional character moments. Whether you enjoy dark fantasy, action, reincarnation, system stories, or epic adventure novels, Senpai is here to turn every chapter into a cinematic listening experience. So relax, put on your headphones, and let the story begin. Subscribe to Senpai and join the journey.
For safety concerns, Ling Mo wanted to put Lin Luanqui in a room on the second floor. There were rooms on the first floor, but they were all too close to the front door, which could be dangerous. While Ye Lian helped her to the bed in one of the rooms, Ling Mo and Shana checked around the second floor. Just like the first floor, there were no zombies on the second floor either. Shouldn't there be any zombies? The fact that there were no zombies in a creepy place like this makes Ling Mo feel really weird about being here. When someone who has been on alert for a long time suddenly comes to a safe place, they wouldn't feel relieved. Instead, they would be even more nervous. That's because they were always in danger, and so going into somewhere safe makes it feel unreal. With the situation of what's happening to the world right now, makes it seem normal to be alert all the time. It's really sad to think that even though the apocalypse only happened for a short time, it felt like a really long time. Being alert all the time was now the natural thing to do. Being in a safe area made Ling Mo begin to think that if the world became safe again and the zombies were all normal again, would he think the world he was in was a fake? Stop thinking. Ling Mo was shocked for a second, shook his head, and laughed at himself. This kind of thing wouldn't happen. Ling Mo, you would be in great danger if you keep dreaming about it. Come on, focus, he told himself. He went to the third floor and let Shana stay at the first and second floor to look for medicine. From his perspective, if there were mutated zombies, they could sense Shana and Ye Lian, and they would come out without him having to look for them. If it's just normal zombies, then he could handle them himself. No need to worry. The third floor was split in half. One half was the third floor, the other half was the rooftop. This kind of architecture style seemed to be quite popular in X City University. But from what Ling Mo saw was that this was just a place for couples to date and hang around. No one would even find out if you had fucked here. Probably gave an extra kind of excitement being up on the rooftop, not to mention doing other things. He even found a condom at the entrance and a sticky napkin stick to the ground. Lovely place. Ling Mo rolled his eyes. If he could take his girlfriend here and enjoy a moment, his life would literally be fulfilled and complete. He held tightly on the short knife and walked cautiously down one side of the hallway. Just in case he gets attacked, he would be able to use the spirit tentacles to protect himself anytime. Although he didn't find anything else besides the condom on the rooftop, he still had to be careful. The reason Ling Mo could survive in the beginning and live till now was that he was always aware of his surroundings. He never once lost his vigilance. After opening two doors, there were only some thrown furniture. Seemed like the third floor was used as a warehouse. Ling Mo felt relieved. Seems like there really were no zombies here. However, when he opened the third door, a dark shadow suddenly popped out from an old cabinet. This really scared the shit out of Ling Mo. The black shadow wasn't fast, but the way it jumped out was really surprising. Luckily, due to being surprised, Ling Mo subconsciously stepped back at the same time it jumped out. Ling Mo immediately summoned his spirit tentacle out. At the same time, another guy came out from the cabinet. The two of them looked very scary, even scarier than other zombies. They were stained with blood all the way down to their very skin, and they smelled just like two people who came out from a bathroom after taking a huge shit. The smell was too intense to block. Even Ling Mo couldn't help himself from frowning. Unlike other zombies, these two didn't just come out and attack. They just made stupid, threatening gestures. Ling Mo was shocked in the beginning when he saw them and was ready to strike back. But when he released his spirit tentacle, his face showed a weird expression. Seeing Ling Mo standing at the front door holding a knife, one of the zombies again roared with a low voice and charged. Ling Mo coldly made a laughter. He played with his knife and pointed it right at the zombie's throat when it charged in front of him. If it were other zombies, even if he put a can on their head, they wouldn't stop, but this zombie trembled and got cold feet. That face with blood covered shivered, and it mumbled with fear, "Spare my life?" The other zombie was stupefied after seeing this. They've seen a lot of survivors, but Ling Mo was the only one who was fearless and could even smile while facing zombies. Is he really that fearless? Of course not. He got scared in the beginning. He was not afraid going 1-on-1 or 1 against 10, but Ling Mo would still feel a sudden nervousness when they pop out like that. Not afraid of fighting doesn't mean he wouldn't get scared. Big brother! The zombie shivered but didn't dare get any closer to Ling Mo but begged him instead. "Please spare our lives. We are not zombies." Not zombies. Ling Mo had no intention of taking away the knife. Of course he realized that those two idiots were not zombies. They were just two people disguised as zombies. Although he didn't realize in the beginning, but he figured it out after he tried to use the puppet mastery skill on them, and it didn't work. They could disguise the appearance, but their spirit had exposed them. Survivors would do anything just to survive, but this was the first time Ling Mo had seen people like them who made themselves into a human-shaped poison bomb. "Of course I know you guys are human." Ling Luanqui snapped. He then stared sharply at the person in front of him and asked, "What are you idiots up to?" What Ling Mo had really wanted to ask was actually why did they scare him, but he didn't want to admit that he got scared. Since they were so afraid of him now, he decided to get more information instead. Ling Mo showed an attitude of "I'll kill you if you don't fucking tell me," so the two guys quivered and said, "We were just hiding in here for a short while." Bull fucking shit. Ling Mo impatiently interrupted. Why would they need to make themselves like this if they were just hiding? The guy quickly explained, "No, we just hid here for 2 days. These 2 days, we actually..." With the knife pointed to his throat, Ling Mo just needs to push a bit harder to kill him. When your life was on the line, it's hard to remain calm. Not to mention he was a coward. Ling Mo frowned while hearing his mumbling vague voice. His partner started to worry that he might irritate Ling Mo, so he interrupted and said, "Let me say it." The guy quickly shut his mouth and looked at Ling Mo with pleading eyes. "Okay, you say it." Ling Mo looked at that guy and said, although he was covered with blood, but he could still tell that he had dark skin, was less than 20 years old, and apparently was a student of X City University. But he looked a lot more calmer than his partner, and he talks way faster and more fluent. "We just got here 2 days ago. This is the only place we can stay. We actually didn't know you were coming. We were also shocked when you opened the door, but I thought you should be survivor rather than a zombie since you opened the door, but we have no idea what you were up to, so we decided to capture you first." After he finished explaining, he felt anxious. He was afraid that Ling Mo would kill his partner if he irritated him. His partner's reaction was much more fierce. He started to curse. "OMFG, are you trying to kill me? Tang Xiao Shui. Did your mouth and asshole switch? Do you even know how to talk? Or are you only able to talk shit? You want me dead? Bro. He cannot move with a knife pointing at his throat. He can only look at Ling Mo and say, "Don't be angry. We didn't want to capture you, I swear. We just wanted to make friends with you." Ling Mo thought it was hilarious, but also realized that they didn't have bad intentions. He was also aware of survivors. It's just that he wouldn't do anything impulsive like them. On the second thought, if it were other survivors, it might work. Normally, people would become a bit slower when they got scared. Those with no guts probably even wouldn't be able to move. If they saw these fake zombies, they would probably just wait to die. He could tell that they were actually very careful with their plan, because a different scenario could have happened. What if the people didn't get scared and decided to fight back and kill them? They were smart in seeing if their target got scared or not before going through with their plan. So they waited for a few seconds and then attacked Ling Mo, thinking he was the first kind of person since he jumped back, indicating that they had scared the shit out of him. Too bad that Ling Mo didn't get scared to death. Instead, he pulled himself together immediately and played them. "Sounds like you guys do these kinds of things often?" Ling Mo slowly put down his knife and asked them with great interest. The guy took a deep breath and wiped his forehead. His face looked even dirtier, which made him look kind of scary. "No, we didn't even succeed the first time." Sorry, I mean." He was afraid of Ling Mo, so he changed his words right away. "That's not what I meant. Why are you so scared?" Ling Mo thought this guy was too timid. Was it because I'm too aggressive? But in terms of aggressiveness, Ye Lian and Shana would look even more scarier. The feeling they give others is real aggressiveness. In other words, that's actually a kind of strong, killing aura. Only zombies who would regard humans as food would have this kind of aura. That's real aggressiveness. This feeling is like the feeling when a predator meets a prey. Ling Mo didn't even intend to kill, so he didn't know what to do when he saw this guy being so scared out of his mind. He began to think that the guy was scared probably because he recently killed a lot of people, and he still had a bit of killing aura around him, even when he didn't intend to kill. Although Ling Mo wasn't really serious, the two guys were very afraid of him because Ling Mo did something they didn't expect him to do. This guy looked at Ling Mo and said, "You're not like other survivors. You have no fear for zombies, bro, so I admire you a lot." Peng stopped kissing his ass. Tang Xiao Shui interrupted and said, "We didn't have the intention to attack you, but..." Tang Xiao Shui looked helpless and said in a sad voice, "We had to be careful because you never know who's out there. If someone bad had captured us first instead of someone like you, who knows what might have happened to us? We might have been raped." Ling Mo looked like he wanted to puke after what he heard. There would be no problem if this was said by two beautiful ladies with voluptuous bodies, but what the hell would people do to you two pieces of shit? Who the fuck would want to rape you? Ling Mo suddenly thought if Shana couldn't find anything inside the hospital rooms, and he didn't see anything on the first floor either, then the way Ling Mo looked at them suddenly became weird. "You guys have all the drugs, right?" Tang Xiao Shui and Peng were shocked. Peng was dazed, and Tang Xiao Shui pulled Peng to his side, looked at Ling Mo with awareness and asked, "What do you want?" After Peng pulled himself together, the first thing he thought was to argue, "What drugs? We don't know anything about no drugs." Ling Mo looked at him as if he was looking at an idiot and turned to Tang Xiao Shui. "Don't worry, I'm not going to take it away, in fact." He took 2 bags of instant noodles and said, "Want to trade?" The two of them showed their desire on their face when they saw the bags of instant noodles. Food. Peng also peeked at Ling Mo's bag while looking at the noodles, but he stopped after seeing his knife. After what happened last night, Ling Mo realized something. He is always carrying a very tempting bag for those survivors who were starving. Luckily, he was strong enough that he didn't have to worry about those 2 idiots with greedy eyes. If they tried to take away the bag, Ling Mo wouldn't mind killing them and taking the drugs. Tang Xiao Shui stared at the instant noodle. He was apparently dying to have it. But when Peng started to talk, he stopped him and asked, "How do you want to trade?" Ling Mo thought this guy was much calmer than his partner. He could manage to hold his impulsiveness and bargain with me despite how much he really wanted it. "Depends on what kind of drugs you have and how much you have," said Ling Mo. Tang Xiao swallowed, then hesitated and said, since this is just a school hospital, we don't have much prescribed medicine. We have some painkillers, cold medicine, antipyretics, propulsid, and eye drops. Ling Mo felt no interest of the long list of medicines he mentioned. He had a lot of regular medicines like cold medicine. After being homeless, his resistance had become much stronger than before, so he wouldn't get sick easily. But painkillers could be very useful. As for propulsid, they don't really need it since it only helps when you have stomach ache. You deserve to be killed right now if you still have stomach ache in this current apocalyptic world. The world out there might be bad right now, but the good thing is that humans are good at adapting to a new environment. Tang Xiao could tell that Ling Mo was not interested from his expression, but Peng's stomach suddenly made a noise. Gug. He said to Tang Xiao with a painful expression, I'm starving to death. Even if we get back, they wouldn't give us shit. Just give him some, they wouldn't find out anyways. Tang Xiao's expression suddenly changed to a look that seemed like he wanted to kill him. He stared at Peng and said, why do I have this dumbass as partner? But seeing him slobbering, he sighed and said, we also have Yunnan white medicinal powder spray, guaza, and bandage. Tang Xiao looked more confident after naming the extra first aid tools he had in his supply. As a normal person who can be in danger at any time, first aid tools are the most important. After all, humans couldn't recover like zombies. Zombies could still survive if they lose a leg or lose an arm, but humans would probably die just from deep wounds. For example, excessive bleeding or not enough energy to run from a zombie. To humans, getting hurt accidentally was increasing the possibility for death, so you had to have a way to save yourself. Ling Mo was impressed and asked, how much do you have? Not much, about 2 for each item. Tang Xiao hesitated and said. Ling Mo could tell something was not right from his uncertain tone of voice, so Ling Mo asked a question. You guys are finding medicine for other people? Tang Xiao became a bit nervous and then said, yeah, I'm finding them for my classmates. Bullshit. They aren't our classmates. They are assholes. If they really did regard us as classmates, they wouldn't have done something like this. Peng angrily interrupted Tang Xiao. Tang Xiao frowned and lowered his voice. Don't be like this. We can't blame them. Blame the asshole couples. Anyways, they're all bad guys. Why don't they find the medicine themselves? Making us come out here to find it and risking our lives. Peng seemed to be holding on to a grudge, so he kept cursing. The 2 guys seemed to be bullied by their companions. Although Ling Mo didn't want to mind other people's business, he really needed those medicines. So he considered a little bit and asked, how about this? If you guys can give me all the medicine, I can not only give you food, but I can also take you to another group of survivors. In this way, you guys wouldn't be tortured for not taking back medicine. This was probably the best and easy way to peacefully deal with those bullies. If can't bear with me, then I'll just leave. Of course, if you want to do this, you need to have the courage and ability to survive. It would be hard for those 2 survivors to survive, so Ling Mo came up with this idea. There are 3,000 survivors in this school, so it wouldn't be hard to find another group of people. He could tell they're holding a strong grudge on their partners. They would probably say yes after he told them this idea, yet this did not happen. No, we can't go, Tang Xiao said, and surprised Ling Mo. Even Peng shook his head and said, thanks man, it's not that we don't trust you, but we really can't go. Why? Ling Mo asked, are they masochists? Tang Xiao felt complicated and said, not just us, there are other people who were forced to come out and look for medicine. Some look for food, and some look for daily needs like tissues. I don't know if others will escape, but Peng and I won't because, what are you afraid of? Just say it. Peng angrily said, the 2 bitch-ass couples shut 10 girls in a place, which includes a pregnant teacher. They said they will give us 3 days to find supplies, or they will kill a girl if 1 person doesn't get back by the time. If 2 people don't come back on time, then 2 girls are going to die. Although none of them is my girlfriend or relative, but Tang Xiao and I will not let them die because of us. He was very angry. His whole body was shaking when he was talking. If he was lying, then his acting skills was very godlike. If Tang Xiao had said these things, Ling Mo might not have believed him, but if it's from Peng, who was always a bit more careless when he talked, he would, because this type of person wouldn't lie when he was being emotional. So the way Ling Mo looked at them changed. To my surprise, you 2 have balls. Ling Mo was sincere. Ling Mo really admired them both. It's easy to tell that those 2 were the lowest level of survivors, no ability and not smart, but were at least nice people. It's really hard to find people like this right now. The way how Ling Mo saw them changed, and his voice became softer, and he also put down his knife. We can only give you a bit, because there is only a little bit of the supplies. If we don't take enough back, we won't have a good ending. If it weren't because we were starving to death right now, we wouldn't be changing it with food. Tang Xiao said and sighed. Peng was much more straightforward. Don't even think about taking our supplies away from us. You can see that this is real zombie blood. We also use zombie flesh to cover our body. If you want to rob us, I'll cut myself and become a zombie. You would die no matter how strong you are. I really want to say, I don't know you anymore. Tang Xiao kicked his leg. Although this was a good method, it wouldn't work if you told the whole plan to your opponent. Only in really bad movies would you see someone telling their enemies what their best moves are. Although Ling Mo thought this was hilarious, he also felt disgusted that they used zombie flesh to cover their body. But on second thought, if he didn't have superpowers and had fought them like a regular person, he probably wouldn't win if they went with their plan. From their words, Ling Mo could tell they killed zombies before. Although he didn't know how, but he assumed it must have been really hard for them. So out of curiosity, he still asked, "Where did you get the zombie blood?" Peng, who had a big mouth, said, "Oh, you wouldn't believe it. We were so lucky. We saw a stupid zombie get stuck in a wall. Tang Xiao Shui, and I decided to use a stone to kill it." Out of excitement, the proud Peng started telling the whole story how he killed the zombie and told him how he used a not-so-big stone to kill the stupid zombie. After listening, Ling Mo thought, these two idiots are in fact very interesting. Even though Ling Mo should be aware of other survivors, he could tell these two idiots were just too weak and could also tell that they lacked experience when it came to meeting new survivors. Even Tang Xiao Shui, who was the smarter one of the two, would tell you anything you wanted to know for just a bit of food. This is why they lacked experience. They were basically carrying gold and telling you they could exchange a small amount of gold to you for something you have when you had the power to rob them, and they wouldn't be able to even fight back. These two were a bit simple-minded, but they were very lucky that they met Ling Mo rather than Sukai. How about this? I really do want the medicine, but you guys seem to have a difficult time. Ling Mo just couldn't be an asshole and rob everything from them. He didn't want to kill two innocent girls indirectly, as well as put these two retards in danger. This was a matter of crossing the line. This is something Ling Mo couldn't go through. If he did it, then he would be no different than Sukai. Although Ling Mo didn't wish to rob them, if Tang Xiao Shui only gives him one portion of it, it's not going to be enough. While he was hesitating, a shadow appeared at the door. Ling Mo didn't even need to look back to know that the person in front of the door was Shana. Even though he wasn't controlling Shana, she was essentially his zombie puppet. They had a special spirit connection. Even if they were not at the same place, Ling Mo would still somehow know where she and Ye Lian were. Shana was looking for medicine on the second floor, but she didn't find anything, so she came to see Ling Mo. This was kind of her habit, because although she was close to Ye Lian, staying with Lin Luanqui, who was a human, bothered her. She tried to avoid humans as much as she could. Ling Mo was apparently an exception, but this special treatment was not just because of their spiritual connection. Although Ling Mo was not surprised, Peng was. He saw someone appear at the door, and he started to shout. Tang Xiao Shui immediately covered his mouth. "STFU. Are you stupid? Do you want zombies to come here?" "Don't worry. This is Shana," Ling Mo smiled and said, but when he turned around, Shana had already ran to him. The second she walked past him, Ling Mo found out Shana's eyes had slightly turned red with his spiritual power. Seeing someone suddenly charge towards him with a knife, Tang Xiao Shui was shocked and grabbed Peng to step back. But their speed was no match for Shana, who was in zombie mode. She was already in front of them after they took a step back, just when the knife was coming down to make a slash. Shit. Although Shana wouldn't attack humans under his control, these two guys looked just like zombies. As a more advanced, mutated zombie, Shana was also aggressive to other zombies. Normally, mutated zombies or advanced zombies wouldn't attack other normal zombies unless they were hungry, but Shana and Ye Lian were a bit different. Especially Shana, who still had her memory and consciousness. Her hostility towards zombies was much stronger. Luckily, Ling Mo had already pulled himself together. He immediately used his puppet skills to gain more control on Shana and dashed to her and grabbed her arm to his direction. After doing these two things, the direction Shana slashed tilted a bit and slashed in front of Peng. Pump. It took a while for Tang Xiao Shui and Peng to pull themselves together. They were scared shitless to death. Their limbs felt like they were melting. Their brains felt completely empty. They had just been through hell. Because it was too scary just a few moments ago, they paused over there without moving and leaned on each other while quivering. After being grabbed away by Ling Mo, she still had those red eyes which stared at the two zombies. Ling Mo was also very shocked, because if he hadn't stopped Shana, those two idiots might have already been dead by now. Ling Mo originally thought that their disguise sucked and wouldn't be able to trick other zombies, but reality smacked him in the face when Shana fell for it. Turns out it was pretty good. So as long as you want to live, you can always still find a way, just depends on whether you're willing to go the extra mile or not. Okay, don't worry. Ling Mo, try to calm Shana down. She won't kill you guys, don't worry. Peng asked with a quivering voice, "Is she your girlfriend?" "OMG, thank God. She scared the shit out of me. I think the way you guys look now will scare other people." Ling Mo stared at him and said, "She thought you guys were zombies. Although your method was to try to trick zombies, if you guys see a survivor, you guys might be dead. Figure out something else," Ling Mo advised them. He was thinking, putting aside whether survivors will kill you guys or not, if they met a mutated zombie or a hungry zombie, they were dead meat. Tang Xiao Shui pulled himself together and looked at Shana with fear. Although he was scared of Shana, he believed she was human. His mindset was built on only normal zombies. He probably couldn't imagine that there were also mutated zombies in the current world, so he wasn't suspicious about Shana's identity. Not all survivors are like you two monsters who attack zombies once you see them. Most people would just run away. Tang Xiao Shui showed a bit of depression. It was their first time seeing survivors after disguise like this, but out of their expectations, they almost got killed twice in one day. Ling Mo was suddenly speechless and thought that he doesn't always attack zombies once he sees them. As for Shana, honestly, you can't blame her. It's in her nature as a mutated zombie to kill other zombies. How about this? I have friends downstairs. You two go clean yourselves up and take the drugs downstairs, and we can see how we're going to make the trade. Although Ling Mo wanted to talk to them a bit more about other stuff, but it seemed like these two idiots couldn't think straight anymore. Seeing Ling Mo and Shana leaving without turning their heads, Tang Xiao's legs felt like jelly and melted on the ground. He looked fearful. If it wasn't because his face was covered in blood, you would see that his face was very pale. He tried to wipe his forehead, but he realized his hands were paralyzed. You can't understand how they felt unless you've been so close to death before. Peng leaned on the cabinet and slowly sat down. He felt like he didn't have any energy anymore. He whispered, "Scared the shit out of me," and then asked, "Who do you think is stronger?" In my honest opinion, the dude is no match for this girl. She's way too fast. Tang Xiao exhaled and slowly said, "I have a different opinion. That girl may be really fast, but he still managed to stop her. I don't think I would be able to do this. Even if I react fast enough, my body can't be that fast. No, I don't think I would even be able to react. That was too fast." Although Tang Xiao wasn't talking clearly, but Peng started to think, so that guy's a bit stronger? Should be, or why does that girl listen to him? But he gave up thinking and slapped his lap. If they are that good, do you think they are better than the bitch-ass couples? No cheat. The bitch-ass couples couldn't possibly be that good. If they didn't claim that they had a guy with superpowers, they wouldn't be that arrogant, Tang Xiao said with despise. When superpowers was mentioned, Peng showed a disapproval expression and said, "Last time I heard that bitch-ass couple say that the guy with superpowers would bring all the survivors together and build a huge base. That's complete bullshit. I don't believe that superpowers exist." Tang Xiao looked at Peng with a complicated look and said with a low voice, "I believe. Are you stupid or were you dropped as a baby? How can you believe in this kind of shit? Why not? Look at what's happened to this world. If it didn't happen, how many people would believe the existence of zombies? If there's zombies, then there might be some possibilities that superpowers do exist. I even heard that there used to be a guy in school who had a superpower, but disappeared. Probably escaped." Tang Xiao's eyes suddenly became very upset. "Recently, I've been thinking, in the past before the apocalypse happened, when I was bored I would go onto the forums and say that I hoped doomsday would come." Then he slapped himself on the face. "Why did I fucking jinx it?" Peng also quivered and then grabbed Tang Xiao's hand to stop him. "Stop doing this. This has nothing to do with you jinxing it. It's hard to live on, and it's painful." Tang Xiao's, "I was a bit wet. I thought I had wanted to die anyways and go to hell to meet my parents, but when the girl tried to kill us, I really thought I was going to die. I honestly have never felt the urge to want to live so much at that moment. Don't laugh at me. I didn't want to die at that moment. When that knife was slashing towards me, I was scared to death." Peng looked at Tang Xiao with surprise and then laughed. "Haha, I didn't believe it. I knew you didn't want to die. You always said how you didn't mind dying all the time. What complete, utter bullshit. At least I'm not a liar and I don't pretend that I'm not scared of dying. I'm not even afraid to tell you that I actually pissed my pants." He pointed below his crotch. The place he was sitting on was really wet. Tang Xiao jumped as if tail got stepped on, looked at Peng weirdly. Peng looked as if he didn't feel embarrassed and waved at him. "Come and help me up. My legs are melted. I can't get up. Why don't you just sit on your pee the whole day? Honestly, I'm so unlucky to know you. Let's pretend we don't know each other anymore." After 10 minutes, they went downstairs. Tang Xiao was carrying a small bag filled with drugs they had collected from the school's hospital. And the way Peng was walking looked really weird. If you looked closely, his crotch and legs were wet. They followed Ling Mo's advice to clean the bloodstains, but they still smelled like shit. The moment they reached the second floor, Tang Xiao stopped, and Peng quivered. Outside the ward, they saw Shana holding a long knife with a cold look. Her eyes looked normal now. Tang Xiao thought the red eyes he saw was an illusion caused by fear. The two guys hesitated at the stairway and then walked over anyways. "Ing." While Peng tried to talk, Shana went in and said, "Come in." Even her voice doesn't have any emotions. "Is this the legendary cold beauty?" Peng stopped with his mouth open and turned around to talk to Tang Xiao. "Come on, if this guy didn't kill us, they won't kill us now. Let's negotiate with them for some food. If we get more food, we can even share it with the others when we get back." "Don't be silly. The bitch-ass couple will search us when we get back," said Tang Xiao shaking his head. Peng fiercely gritted his teeth and said, "Come and search me then. I only have these clothes. Let them search. They wouldn't be able to tolerate our smell. Why don't you piss on your pants too? Let them smell it. Go dig a hole and die in it, please." He quickly refused. He went into the room right away because Peng seemed to want to keep talking and coming up with some really embarrassing plans. Even though the hospital ward had a big room, it only contained 6 beds. It's not hard to understand why there were so little beds in the hospital ward. Usually in school, there would only be a small amount of sick students coming here to get 4 drip. There's honestly no point in putting too many beds for such a small amount of students. Ling Mo was in front of the bed in the middle, Tang Xiao and Peng paused at the same time. For people, Peng looked shocked, but what really surprised him was that besides Ling Mo, the other people in the room were all females and one of them was lying sick on the bed. 1 guy and 3 girls. How the hell did they make it here alive? Honestly, people would have evil intentions if they saw a group with only 1 male and 3 females, especially if they saw them carry a big bag of supplies. It's like holding a sign that says I'm an easy target. It's much easier to rob a group of helpless people with supplies than search in a zombie-infested area for supplies. People would choose to rob other people because of this. For people like Tang Xiao and Peng who were so hungry now, they probably wouldn't kill others, but they probably would try to take away the stuff. But after seeing what Ling Mo and Shana were capable of, they would of course not do something that stupid. Tang, Xiao, Shui even thought that even if someone tried to do something to them, they probably wouldn't end up with a good outcome. What he didn't know was that this theory of his was actually proven last night. What really made he Peng and Tang, Xiao, Shui curious was where they come from. They made special trip here, probably just to save this patient on the bed. Since they met Ling Mo, they had to assume that Ling Mo was a survivor from the school. Probably had always been around the school. As for the girls in the room, Lin Luanqui looked young, not to mention Shana. Especially Ye Lian looked so familiar, although they couldn't figure out who she was right now, but they were sure that she was a student from X City University. So they were even more sure with their assumption. Since everyone was from the same school, we should be able to negotiate. Peng thought. Guess they will never figure out that they were from another place. Immunasia. Lin Luanqui has been sleeping since she took her medicine, but she opened her eyes with awareness when she heard Tang, Xiao, Shui's voice. If it wasn't because she saw Ye Lian right beside her, she would probably jump out of the bed and find a place to hide right away. This was already an instinctive reaction for her. But with Ye Lian, Shana, and Ling Mo beside her, she really didn't have to worry about anything. She was still surprised, but didn't say anything and just looked at the door. Zombies? No. The moment she talked, she saw the two survivors. Her pale face showed a surprised expression. The two survivors looked dirty and smelled like shit. They even looked like zombies when you first look at them, but zombies wouldn't just stand there and do nothing. And one of them even waved embarrassedly, looked like he's saying hi. And if you look closely under their short messy hair, is a pair of human eyes. It's just that it's covered with blood stains, so it can be really confusing. They looked much better now, though. They had like a 90% zombie and 10% human look before, but now it's like a 50-50. Ye Lian took an extra look at them and looked confused. Good thing was Ling Mo had calmed her down immediately, so she didn't try to kill them like Shana did. After seeing them, Ling Mo tried to figure out how the zombies would judge whether someone was a zombie or a human. So far, it looks like they could only judge by seeing if they had the virus or not. To make sure their plan would work out, the two guys tried everything to disguise themselves. Out of everything they used to cover themselves with, seems like only the zombie blood that contained the virus really worked. These two guys really had the guts for trying without knowing if it worked or not. But from Ling Mo's perspective, this can only be a temporary solution, not a suitable one in the long run. Although the virus shouldn't be able to penetrate through the skin, they still wouldn't know what would happen if you were covered with zombie blood for a long time. If they accidentally got hurt with the blood on them, then it's no different than killing yourself. Also, it was really dangerous to be in a group of zombies. Zombies evolve, and evolve means killing other zombies. Humans are their food supply, but zombies are their supplements to evolve. Food is essential, but if there are some supplements, they wouldn't let go of it. Half of the reason they could make it alive till now was because they worked hard in surviving, and the other half was because they were so damn lucky. But you have to admit that luck is part of one's skill. Why are there? Lin Luanqui asked suspiciously. She never imagined that they would see any survivors. This was the center of X City University. While the number of zombies rapidly increased, so did the amount of survivors. Although the survivors were scattered all around the school, but in terms of quantity, survivors in the center area had the most amount. But the school hospital was not a good place to stay due to the fact that it was a big risk to go in and out of the hospital since it was near the basketball court. So this area would have a lot of survivors, but no one would stay in the school hospital itself. I saw them on the third floor. Ling Mo said, and added, they have all the medicine. Lin Luanqui looked at them surprisingly, seemed to be thinking, just the two of them? Do they even have the balls to come out and look for medicine? She could tell they don't even have weapons. Survivors wouldn't be willing to take this kind of risk since it's not food. And these two guys didn't look like they needed drugs. She didn't ask anything though. But the way she looked at Ling Mo suddenly became subtle, seemed to be expecting Ling Mo to do something. Although Ling Mo's intention to come to X University wasn't for the drugs, but right now, there was something so good in front of him. Probably if it was other survivors, they probably wouldn't let this good chance slip away. When Ling Mo promised her to take her to the school hospital, he also claimed that he was planning to collect some drugs at the same time. Although Ling Mo didn't say anything, Lin Luanqui predicted that he would stay in X City University for a while. If this was the case, it's better to have found more drugs. She knows Ling Mo wants the drugs for sure, but she didn't know what action Ling Mo would take. Ling Mo and her were just collaborating. They didn't actually understand each other that much. Although Sherbin wasn't killed by Ling Mo, Lin Luanqui was still a bit wary of him. After treating her wound twice, she let go some of her feelings about him. Actually, she doesn't know how really she feels about him. Maybe a bit grateful, but also a bit of wary. She could feel that Ling Mo becomes stronger every time he fights. And the two girls beside her are also really something too. So, how do you guys want to trade? Ling Mo asked and waved to tell them to come over. Tang, Xiao, Shui didn't move. He Peng pushed him and said, let's go. There's nothing to be afraid of. Afraid your mother. Do I look like you? I just thought we might stink like shit, and it's going to be uncomfortable for the patient. Not everyone's like you. Tang Xiao Shui was cursing in his head, but he was already been pushed inside, so he walked to Ling Mo. He knows he smells like shit, so he tried to keep a distance. Despite that, the air became really bad. Good thing was the two mutated zombies were fine with it. For Ling Mo and Lin Luanqui, who both had been through a lot of adversities, could definitely tolerate this. He Peng didn't mean to lower his voice, so everyone in the room heard what he said. Lin Luanqui showed a funny face and looked at Ling Mo. Don't worry, we won't steal your stuff, we're just going to trade. Ling Mo sighed and said. Tang Xiao nodded and said, I know that. Or else you could have just finished us up already, didn't even need to give us time to consider. Bro, just tell us how much you want. He peeped at Ye Lian and Lin Luanqui when he was talking to Ling Mo, but when he made an eye contact with Ye Lian, he got a cold feeling. As a mutated zombie who was near from evolving again, the feeling Ye Lian gave others was different. She had a knife with her, and she didn't look like someone who was weak. Tang Xiao thought, why the hell did they meet so many strong survivors when they went out? Although Ling Mo promised that he wouldn't do anything, but he felt like he was a mouse walking in a group of cats. He didn't feel safe at all. He hesitantly looked at Ling Mo, thinking that he didn't even have the guts to refuse Ling Mo's trade. Tang Xiao felt really lucky that Ling Mo was willing to trade, even though he was capable in killing them all and then stealing all the stuff. It's not like before. Power is everything in this current world. If you don't have power, the only thing you can do is submit. There's no moral code in this world anymore. Even Tang Xiao thought that ethics were not reliable anymore. If Ling Mo had asked him to hand over all the drugs now, in order to survive, he would probably do something terrible in response. He never told He Peng this, because he knew that He Peng wouldn't be able to do something terrible. The best result was to pray that Ling Mo won't suddenly get annoyed and kill them to steal their stuff. He Peng was much more careless now. He was already assuming that Ling Mo wouldn't kill them for sure. He said to Ling Mo with a laugh on his face, Big bro, could we talk about the trade later and give us some food first? I am starving. When we came out, they only gave us a little bit of food. It's not even enough. Everyone's food is collected by risking their lives. I won't just give it to you. Ling Mo waved his hands and said no to stop He Peng. There must have been a large portion of the 3,000 survivors of the school who couldn't get full like them. If it wasn't like this, Su Kai's encouragement wouldn't be that effective. The most scary thing is actually not temporary hunger. It's actually when food starts to get insufficient and there were only zombies around. Su Kai and the guys were all under this kind of despair. These two haven't reached to that level yet, so that meant that there must still be enough food around here in the center area. But their task was to collect medicine, and there's not much to eat here, so it's quite normal that they felt hungry. But the bitch-ass couples they mentioned made people risk their lives and didn't even give food. No wonder they were so angry. Thinking to this point, Ling Mo suddenly thought of something and asked them, I heard you guys mentioning the couples, so your leaders are a boy and a girl. But how could just the two of them possibly control 10 girls? And how are they forcing other survivors to collect supplies? I'm curious. Why would you guys rather take the risk coming out than unite and fight them? Ling Mo was thinking that if this couple were as good as Ye Lian, then they should be capable of doing what they're doing now. But if they were normal people, then they shouldn't be able to do something like that. He knows things were a bit complicated. If he had asked directly, the two of them might not be willing to tell the truth, so he decided to use reverse psychology on them. This method really worked on He Peng. He immediately said with fierceness, It's not that easy. If it was just the two of them, we wouldn't end up like this. But they have someone helping them, and they trick some people to join their group, making their group larger than ours, so we can only listen to what they say. So that's it. In other words, the two of them and the other survivors who were forced to come out to collect supplies were the group that didn't join the couples. Tang Xiao hesitated and nodded. This just happened recently, due to the couples meeting a guy with superpowers. Superpowers? Ling Mo twitched his eyes a bit. Even Lin Luanqui sit up with a pale face. Yeah. Tang Xiao thought that Ling Mo didn't believe them from his facial expression. So he added, rumor was that he was trying to gather all the survivors. He seems like someone who has real superpowers, or else he wouldn't have the ability to walk anywhere in school whenever he wanted. Ling Mo thought the word anywhere was exaggerated, but those with superpowers have more of an advantage than normal people. So if you're careful, it is possible to go anywhere you want in school. So the guy with superpowers not only wants to gather everyone, he wants to make everyone collect everything for him. If you think deeper, during the process, they can eliminate the weaker ones. Ling Mo suddenly thought, as a college student, would he be that cruel? Ling Mo leaned forward, stared at Tang Xiao and asked, Tell me more about the guy with superpowers. Although X City University was a very big area, he and the other guy with superpowers were both in the center area, so there would be a high possibility that they would encounter each other. He could easily tell from He Peng and Tang Xiao's description that this guy was very ambitious and cruel. He needed to be cautious with this type of person. And Ling Mo was also curious about this guy's real goal. It was already really hard to gather over 1,000 people into one spot. The death toll for this type of plan would be hard to predict. Either way, the remainder of the survivors that survived this type of gathering would still be a great number. It would be fine if 10 or 20 people gathered together. But if there are hundreds of people gathering together, that's a disaster waiting to happen. The guy with superpowers would have surely thought of this. What is he up to? The last time he fought with Lin Luanqui, Ling Mo had already known what people with superpowers could be capable of. If Lin Luanqui wasn't sick, Ling Mo might have gotten hurt at that time, since he wasn't aware. Even though the possibility of being sneak attacked by the guy with superpowers was relatively low due to Ye Lian being able to detect people with powers, it was still a hassle, since he wouldn't know what type of powers they had. Taking safety precautions was always better, so Ling Mo wanted to thoroughly understand that person first. I think he was a graduate student, named Wei Jun Yen. Tang Xiao said, frowning his eyebrows. We really don't know that much about him since the bitch-ass couple's talking to whispers, but one of the people in our group said he knew him before. He said he was a very shy and passionate guy with long hair. Ling Mo rolled his eyes, thinking that he was giving useless information, so kept asking, "Didn't you guys find out what kind of superpower he has?" Eminesia. Not quite sure. I think when he moves really fast, it looks a bit weird, and there's no sound when he walks. Tang Xiao Shui tried very hard to think. This at least provided some clues. Fast, no sound when he moves. This was kind of like Ye Lian, or was he exactly like Ye Lian and had high agility? If that was the case, then there's nothing to worry about. He might be good at a surprise attack, but Ye Lian had the ability to sense people with superpowers. Although Ling Mo was not good at close combat, his psychic powers had enhanced to a certain level. Although he's still not capable of controlling humans, he could still distort their vision or influence their judgments. Maybe he could attack people with his psychic powers in the future, but he's not sure how long that would take for him to harness that type of power. While Ling Mo was contemplating, he looked up and saw Lin Luanqui giving a weird look. Although Lin Luanqui quivered and looked down immediately, but Ling Mo saw everything. He could see that she subtly showed a bit of hatred through her eyes. Seemed like she knew this Wei Jun Yen guy. When they first met each other, Lin Luanqui mentioned this guy before, but didn't say a lot. Ling Mo felt curious at that time, but he thought the possibility of bumping into this guy was pretty low, so he didn't bother asking. Plus, she probably wouldn't have told the truth anyways. According to this, they might have had some sort of connection in past. It's actually quite possible. After all, they were the only two people in X City University who had superpowers. He might have tried to talk with Lin Luanqui in the past, since he was also around in this area. But from Lin Luanqi's reaction, she didn't seem to want to talk about this Wei Jun Yen. After realizing that a person with superpowers was around, they weren't in mood for bargaining. He was thinking of using some food in exchange for 3 portions of first aid medicine, which could let them last for at least a month. With this amount of time, Ling Mo would be able to kill all the mutated and advanced mutated zombies in X City University. And at that time, Ye Lian could probably be able to gain some more consciousness and sanity. The advanced mutated zombie girl gave Ling Mo a deep impression. She apparently already had the ability to make judgments. As for Shana's evolvement, due to her situation, Ling Mo couldn't be sure how she would eventually be like, but so far it looked like it's heading towards the right way. The result made Tang Xiao Shui really happy. He thought Ling Mo wanted to take all the drugs. In that case, he wouldn't be able to explain when he got back to his group. And the food Ling Mo gave was a lot. They would be able to eat for several days. He had thought Ling Mo might not have been a nice guy, probably even a bit threatening. But in the world right now, where ethic values went extinct, he's pretty lucky that Ling Mo was willing to trade at a fair price. And they couldn't use these supplies anyways when they got back. They had to hand it over to the bitch-ass couples. If he hadn't stopped He Peng Peng was going to put some zombie blood inside the medicine. After making the deal, Tang Xiao Shui and He Peng started to stuff food in their mouths. But in order to avoid zombie blood, they had to stretch their necks out, which made it look very funny. Ling Mo looked entertained and then looked at Lin Luanqui. But before he said anything, Lin Luanqui said, "Don't worry, I will draw out the routes and show where zombies appear the most." But she bit her lips immediately after talking. Ling Mo could see her sadness through her eyes. Ling Mo suddenly felt weird. He felt like back when they had just met. What are your plans afterwards? Ling Mo also wanted to ask about Wei Jun Yen, but seeing her right now, he held it in and made a sigh in his head. Lin Luanqui looked to him and asked, "How about you?" Eminesia. Ling Mo smiled and said, "Live and survive with them no matter what happens." Lin Luanqi expressions changed and looked at Ling Mo. Seemed like she was going to say something, but then stopped. After a while, she sadly said, "I'm not sure. I want to find my relatives, but I don't have the ability right now. When I left school, I just wanted to see what was going on the outside or what's the city like right now. Most importantly, I wanted to know if there's going to be any help." She looked at Ling Mo and asked, "Have you ever thought if there were any rescue teams?" Ling Mo stopped and shook his head and said, "Not right now. The town area is too complicated. Even if there's a rescue team, the only possibility of them finding us is to wait for them to figure things out first, and then come find us. Normal people wouldn't be able to reach out to them. Plus, the buildings in the city are very big. It's going to be really hard for them to find us." Ling Mo didn't see any hope in the rescue Lin Luanqui mentioned. The virus was very contagious. Everything happened too fast. There wasn't enough time to take any action to prevent it. Things wouldn't all be destroyed, but waiting for them to fix everything and to create a safe area and then come out to search for survivors would be a hard task and also take too long. This was the darkest age for survivors because they had to rely everything on themselves. The two of them were quiet for a while. She seemed to have kept her life after reaching the school hospital, but it also meant that her deal with Ling Mo was coming to an end. Ling Mo could tell that she was trying to ask him to stay from her words, but they both have different plans. Ling Mo couldn't take 2 zombies and stay with humans for too long. It was about time to say goodbye, but Ling Mo couldn't bear to tell a little girl, "I'll leave you here, and I'm going to take my girlfriend to leave tomorrow." Lin Luanqi had no intention of initiating it. "Take a rest. First, we need to arrange everything. Let's talk about it tomorrow, and take a nap first. By the way, we will be sleeping in the next room. Just call us if anything happens." Seeing Ling Mo leaving with his bags, Lin Luanqi paused and smiled a bit, but with a different look on her face. When Ling Mo left the room, the other people in the room also started to leave as well, leaving Lin Luanqi in the bed alone. The hospital was relatively safe, so there was no problem with Lin Luanqui being in a room by herself. Tang Xiao Shui and he Peng didn't plan to leave right away. Even though they had recovered their energy and stamina with their skills, they probably wouldn't survive at night, so they decided to leave the next morning. When they made the agreement, with Ling Mo had also promised to get a bottle of zombie blood for them the next morning. Despite the warnings Ling Mo had given them about covering themselves with zombie blood, they still intended to put it on, since to them, it was the only way to walk across a bunch of zombies without getting bitten. Ling Mo thought this method was extremely dangerous to use, but then again, if it's just being used to escape, it might just work. Not a lot of people have the guts to disguise as a zombie and walk through a bunch of other zombies. After quickly dealing with Tang Xiao Shui and he Peng, Ling Mo brought the two zombie girls to rest. But when he said, "I'm going to take a rest with the girls," the two guys gave him a weird look. "What the fuck are you guys looking at? Go to bed already." Ling Mo felt weirded out by their looks and angrily rushed the girls into the room and slammed the door. Turning to the two girls, he rubbed his hands. Ling Mo felt excited and carefully took out the gels. "Come on and eat this. Don't bite. Good girl. Shana, Ye Lian, don't be like her." After 10 seconds, Tang Xiao Shui, who was standing outside the door, suddenly thought of something, wiped his sweat, and grabbed he Peng, who was leaning on the door listening. "Hey, dumbass, do you have a death wish? You really want to interrupt them? Did you forget that girl made you wet your pants?" "Ha!" He Peng smiled with an evil grin and said, "Don't worry, I'm just listening. There's no harm in listening. Stop it. I don't want to die." Tang Xiao Shui quickly grabbed he Peng to another room and thought this Ling Mo was such a horny guy, starting immediately after he went into the room. Ling Mo never thought that his intention to feed the two girls made others assume different things. He was right now nervously looking at Ye Lian and Shana. The gels were collected from hunting the zombies from the lab. All the gels he had collected condensed into one gel in his pocket. Ling Mo then split the gel into two pieces. Ling Mo had a theory about the gels. He thought that the color of darkness determined the purity of the gel, but he wasn't sure if the darkness was due to the type of the zombie body or because of the number of zombies it ate. After all, he wasn't an expert of this. He could only figure things out through experimenting. Probably if he killed more zombies, he would be able to figure it out. So far, he's found that no matter how pure the gel originally was, as long as it was placed with another gel, it would eventually eat each other up and become a smaller piece of gel with higher purity. Even after being left alone for a while, the gel would still be full of energy after Ling Mo used his tentacles to check. What kind of virus is this? Ling Mo sighed and focused on Ye Lian. Shana's evolution had slowed down a bit. He wouldn't be seeing her evolve in a short period of time. Even if he gives her the whole gel, nothing would happen. So Ling Mo was more excited to see Ye Lian evolving. He intentionally gave Ye Lian a bit more, and the good thing was that Shana didn't mind. Ling Mo and Ye Lian had the closest spirit connection, so he could feel that she was very close to evolving to an advanced mutated zombie. Although mutated zombies have a certain level of consciousness, it is like the difference between heaven and earth when comparing to advanced mutated zombies. At least this theory was based on his observation from Shana and Ye Lian's growth. Unfortunately, he had doubts on what happens after evolving to an advanced mutated zombie. He believed that after turning into an advanced mutated zombie, just eating gels were not going to be enough to advance further. Although the gels were regarded as food for mutated zombies, he believed advanced mutated zombies needed something more to evolve. He has no idea right now, but maybe in the future when Ye Lian gets to that point, she would have a certain level of consciousness and could communicate with him. If she could communicate with him, then he could probably ask what she wanted in order to evolve. To his disappointment, after eating the gel, only their spirit power raised a little bit. Ye Lian didn't become an advanced mutated zombie. Seems like they were almost there, just needed a bit more gels. Good thing was that X City University was never short of zombies. Although Ling Mo felt frustrated and had wanted to go look for more gels, the sky had already turned dark, so he forced himself to sleep. MHHH. So soft. Ling Mo's hands touching a soft thing, and he made a grip with his hands as a form of reflex. He felt that the body in his chest started to move. He opened his eyes and looked at Ye Lian's pearl-like eyes. Although other people couldn't see emotions through those big cold eyes, Ling Mo, he could see a bit of affection in them. "You will always be my girl, even if you became a zombie." Ling Mo hugged her and gave her a morning kiss. After Ling Mo felt awake and energetic, he got up and saw Shana hiding to another side wearing her clothes on the other bed. Although she recovered a lot of her memory, she still looked clumsy. She had buttoned up her clothes wrong twice. Ling Mo felt entertained and thought she probably was an airhead already before becoming a zombie. She is totally different than Ye Lian, who is tender and thoughtful. Ling Mo spontaneously looked at Ye Lian and thought how nice it would be if they both recovered their memory. "Let me help you. I can do it myself." After a long kiss, Ling Mo let go of Shana with an evil smile and buttoned up the two mistaken buttons. He pinched her cheek and asked, "You never wore these kind of clothes before?" "No, it's not important. I don't remember." Shana shook her head and said. Ling Mo suddenly realized she was not an airhead in the past. She just didn't pay that much attention on these kinds of things, so when she recovered her memory, the not important part of the memory would be forgotten. He predicted that besides this, maybe all the things that she considered not important had been forgotten. but probably next time she evolves, she should be able to remember everything. If this really does happen, besides the fact that she was a zombie, she would be no different from Shana in the past. Is this some sort of selective memory? Ling Mo rubbed her head and dressed up Ye Lian with her and headed out. TL. So, guys, we reached chapter 100. Hope everyone likes our translations so far. Also vote for the book so more people can read it. We love the comments we are getting from you guys, and it motivates us a lot when we get donations as well. Tongue sticking out. Well, enough of my nonsense here is chapter 100. Ling Mo was expecting Lin Luanqui to still be there when he opened the door, but was instead stunned. This girl had already left and left a descriptive map of the center area with some words. This is a gift to thank you. Hope we can see each other in the future. And thank you. Ling Mo all of a sudden started to think about last night and try to recall what had happened. He felt sad subconsciously. Guess I was thinking too much. Ling Mo shook his head. They honestly didn't even know each other that well. Their relationship was based off a cooperation only. There was no need to think too much. But Ling Mo's plan was to at least wait until Lin Luanqui recovered before splitting up. At least the good thing was that Lin Luanqui had powers and probably can survive. Plus, she knows the environment more better than Ling Mo, probably. Since she said meet in the future, maybe we could probably really meet in the future. Ling Mo believed that the map should be accurate because Lin Luanqui didn't seem like the type of girl to owe favors. Ling Mo put away the complicated feelings and focused on the map. Looking at the notes on it, although there were lots of zombies around, they mostly gathered in certain areas. There was still lots of blank space. The reason for the spaces was because in order to make the school look more elegant, they had built an artificial stream and lake crossing the entire school. The complicated environment caused most of the zombies to group up at some of the wide open areas, which meant that there were some small paths where survivors could go through without trouble. Although those paths were relatively safe, it didn't necessarily mean that it was a zombie-free path. Most of the zombies were probably grouped up in the buildings. It wasn't safe going into buildings. Going into buildings was basically like going to a zombie's home. You wouldn't be able to survive going in unless you were powerful. Lin Luanqui had also added some notes on the buildings, estimating how many zombies there were in each building. Although it might not be accurate, Ling Mo had still used it as a reference. There were two buildings highlighted by Lin Luanqui on the map, C3 Education Building and A1 Education Building. The two education buildings were positioned at both ends of a path, seemed to be the buildings with most people having classes in the past according to the size. There were a lot of man-made landscape like flower beds and also a river. When the disaster happened, a lot of people ran out from the buildings, but those people who didn't get out on time got turned into zombies and basically were probably still inside. Though it may look pretty on the outside, it probably was a death trap inside. This was what Ling Mo thought of after looking at the information on the map. Ling Mo decided he didn't want to put his target that far, so instead he focused on a target near him. Peace Theater, X-City University's musical theater's show, was quite famous in past. Some foreign show groups would sometimes choose this theater to perform. If there was a show right before the apocalypse started, the number of zombies in that theater would probably be a lot. The word peace in its name seems to be a bit ironic right now. When Ling Mo was carefully looking at the map, Tang Xiao and He Peng had also shown up. They couldn't sleep all night due to thinking about Ling Mo giving them zombie blood. Yo, we're dead. He Peng looked inside. When he started to talk, Tang Xiao covered his mouth immediately. What the fuck are you doing? I'm just asking where the girl who got hurt went. He Peng said unhappily. Tang Xiao felt relieved, because he thought He Peng was going to ask if he had enjoyed his night with the girls last night. But that's none of our business. Stop being so fucking nosy. Let's talk about something else that's more important. Tang Xiao was thinking you better shut the hell up and let me talk. Ling Mo and Lin Luanqui didn't try to avoid them when they were talking. Although they didn't listen to the whole thing, Tang Xiao figured out that they were not really on the same team. In this case, he felt differently about Ling Mo and his companion's identity. Big brother, are you capable of killing a zombie without getting harmed? He Peng stared at Tang Xiao and then excitedly asked Ling Mo. Looking outside the window, there were tons of zombies that would probably give headaches to other people, but not Ling Mo. He told the two idiots to stay inside the building, and went out himself. Tang Xiao was very worried that Ling Mo would ditch them and run away. But Ye Lian and Shana were still there, so it made him feel a bit more secure. But could Ling Mo really defeat a zombie by himself? It might not be a one-on-one, since other zombies might get attracted during the fight. But seeing Ling Mo easily jumping into the garden without any look of nervousness, he felt relieved. When Ling Mo showed up, a zombie saw him right away and ran towards him. The two survivors tightened their hearts, but unlike Tang Xiao who was worried, He Peng was a bit more excited. Ling Mo should be able to cut this zombie to pieces. Out of their expectations, Ling Mo ran towards the hospital the moment the zombie ran towards him. Ling Mo's speed was slightly faster than he originally was when he jumped into the garden. The zombie followed Ling Mo. It also dashed to the hospital. Oh fuck, we are all gonna die. He Peng was shocked. He started to back up, but then he suddenly realized Shana was right next to him. Scram, Shana said coldly. Actually, without her reminder, Tang Xiao and He Peng had already moved to the side, and Ling Mo had already dashed back to the hospital. The moment the zombie popped out its head, it was immediately cut off by Shana, who was right behind him. Great teamwork. This scene made Tang Xiao Shui and he Peng speechless. What surprised him the most was that Ye Lian seemed to know what was going to happen before it really happened. She had closed the door immediately after the zombie came in. This was done to prevent the smell of fresh blood from attracting other zombies. Looking at the headless zombie on the ground, Tang Xiao Shui and he Peng felt cold. Looking at Ling Mo's expression, he looked so calm. In the beginning they thought that he ran because he couldn't defeat the zombie, but actually it was because he already had a plan. Seems like doing something dangerous like this was too easy for them. They didn't even need to prepare anything. Honestly, Ling Mo could have actually done it in a much easier way by taking control of the zombie and making it commit suicide, but he wanted to stay low-key as there was also another guy with superpowers in the area. Hiding one's ability was a good idea. It wasn't wise to show everyone all your cards. Okay, enjoy using the blood. Tang Xiao Shui and he Peng didn't pull themselves together until Ling Mo started talking. Big bro, if it weren't for the girls, I would totally want to follow you, man. He Peng laughed and said. Tang Xiao Shui rolled his eyes, thinking Ling Mo and the girls around him were already this powerful. Who the fuck in their right mind would want a man like you who could only eat? Ling Mo didn't want to see how they would cover their bodies with zombie blood and also didn't want to be there while waiting for it to dry, so he prepared to leave. Try not to die, Ling Mo blurted out. This was all he could say as encouragement, since in his mind, he honestly didn't think there was much hope for them. He Peng looked happy, but Tang Xiao Shui looked a bit disappointed and said, you too. After leaving the hospital, they looked at Lin Luanqi's map and headed to the peaceful theater. His goal in coming to X City University was to help Ye Lian and Shana get stronger. When they got stronger, Ling Mo would also eventually get stronger as well. They might also bump into mutated zombies on the way, but the possibility was pretty low. If they couldn't bump into them, that's okay as well. He was wishing that they could meet some better type of prey, like the advanced zombies. Ling Mo felt that after getting more accustomed to using the spirit tentacles, he would be able to protect himself when he saw an advanced mutated zombie. It wouldn't be like last time where he was basically pushed down without any resistance. Just thinking about the zombie without underwear sitting on top of him still makes him shudder. It's always going to be a dark spot in his heart. Let's walk this way. This path might be far, but there are less zombies in this path, so we won't be surrounded. Ling Mo carefully folded the map, then put it in his clothes. He and the zombie girls then started walking through the path where the zombies were less, and they vanished around the corner of the hospital. But what they didn't know was that when they had started to move towards the path, a shadow appeared on the side of the hospital door. Behind the silent door and a slightly dark hall, Tang Xiao Shui frowned and stared at the zombie's corpse, and then asked, you do it, or I do it? Through the clean cut, blood had sprayed out. The zombie body was immediately covered in a puddle of blood. A bloody smell was creeping out of the body. It smelled sort of like rust. He Peng understood that although this blood looked like human blood, it was actually a deadly kind of blood with the virus. This virus was the cause of everything that has happened in this world. They stared at the body for about a minute. Although the looks on their faces showed that they didn't mind touching this stuff, deep down they were scared shitless after Ling Mo repeatedly warned them not use it. To be honest, the whole process of applying everything was gross. But if they wanted to get back alive, this might be their only choice. They looked at each other, and then he Peng covered his nose and took a deep breath and stepped forward. Let me do it, since I'm already very dirty right now. Okay, Tang Xiao Shui thought to himself, and remembered that he Peng had wet himself, then nodded said yes. After speaking, he Peng reached to the blood with his hands. Don't touch it. A girl's voice suddenly popped out. He Peng got so scared and almost wet his pants again. Tang Xiao Shui was stunned and turned his head, and then his eyes opened wide. I thought you left? The person behind him was Lin Luanqui. Seeing Lin Luanqui coming back shocked Tang Xiao Shui. He Peng had his mouth wide open as if he saw a ghost. Lin Luanqui looked much better. At least her lips were red now, but she was still a bit slow and her left arm seemed weak. But seeing them both there and a zombie body on the ground, Lin Luanqui looked a bit more relaxed. Didn't you leave earlier? Why are you still here? He Peng asked with a surprised tone in his voice. Ling Luanqui smiled and said, yeah, I left, but I came back. But why? If you didn't want to go then, why didn't you just stay? Lin Luanqi's expression changed to a more serious one and said, I was thinking about what to do the whole night, and I decided that I would like to go with you guys. Vu, why? He Peng asked with doubt, and then looked at her carefully, and suddenly said, you wouldn't want us to protect you, do you? Ha ha ha. He got slapped on the back of his head by Tang Xiao Shui after laughing. We couldn't even defeat her, or else why would Brother Ling let her leave by herself? This, he Peng wanted to argue back, but then he thought about what he said, which a lot of sense. Although she looked weak, she was very calm. She doesn't really look like a weak little girl. Lin Luanqui looked at Tang Xiao Shui with surprise, and then smiled, and said while holding onto a metal piece with her hand, good. You understand, you saved me a lot of time from explaining a lot of unnecessary bullshit. Don't worry, I won't cause you guys trouble. As a matter of fact, I am saving you guys. What do you mean? Tang Xiao Shui looked at the metal piece, and suddenly felt a headache coming, thinking that this girl was powerful. If he hadn't stopped he Peng, they probably wouldn't die, but they would definitely get a beating from her. Just lead the way, and also don't use the blood anymore. It might work on some zombies, but if you bump into stronger ones, you'll be dead in second. Also, I don't wish to walk behind two people covered in that stuff. After talking too much, she seemed to be even more tired and frowned. although she got a lot of sleep last night. It would take more time for her to fully recover. She thought if Ling Mo hadn't refused her, she wouldn't even need to use this method. She was a bit envious of Shana and Ye Lian. No point in thinking about it. She told herself and got rid of the complicated feelings. She didn't say anything other than that, and Tang Xiao Shui didn't keep asking. He knows that the two of them were no match for her. Good thing was that the two bitch-ass couples didn't say that they couldn't take any survivors back. They just hope she doesn't mess up anything. As for saving them, Tang Xiao Shui didn't really think she could do it. Even though she seemed pretty powerful, at most she could probably handle the bitch-ass couples. She wouldn't be able to handle the guy with superpowers, though. He still didn't dare to offend her, though, since he learned his lesson from Ling Mo and became really careful. He could easily tell that she has some sort of plans for them. He wouldn't mind as long as she doesn't harm the other normal survivors. Peng looked at her with hesitation and then looked at Tang Xiao Shui. Although he was a bit dumb, he could tell that Lin Luanqui was strong, so he also gave up resisting. Sure, then you are now our big sister. But this zombie was something big bro made a lot of effort to give us. We shouldn't waste it. Peng said. He finished drinking a bottle of water and carefully gathered all the blood. Lin Luanqui frowned and said nothing. She didn't try to argue with him or stop him. Lin Luanqui patiently waited Peng to gather all the blood and asked, "Let's go when you're done. Where do you guys live?" Tang Xiao Shui answered, "Not far from here. We stayed at the Rue when building over there." She was quite familiar with this building, actually. She used to have classes over there in the past before the apocalypse. It looks like a big old school building with a grass plain on the outside. It didn't look that great, but the space inside was quite big. Let's walk from a side door. With the amount of blood that is here, we will attract zombies right away if we take the front door. Lin Luanqi's soft words freaked Peng out, and he quickly stopped. He hid beside Tang Xiao Shui and followed Lin Luanqi, going through the side door. As expected, after a few minutes the front door was bumped open. The annoying chewing sound became very loud. The once zombie-free school hospital has become another home for the zombies. Currently Ling Mo was leading Ye Lian and Shana to cross through a green area. He had no idea what happened in the school hospital after he left. They were taking the path to go to Peace Theater. Looking further ahead, they see a wide road in the front. A gust of wind blew by, and Ling Mo's nose started to itch. He suddenly held it in and breathed out. He relaxed. Achoo! After wiping his nose, two zombies that were wandering around in the area suddenly turned both their heads towards the grove after hearing the noise. They began to run towards him without hesitating. The two zombies were only 10 meters away. His sneeze wasn't really loud, but it still got their attention. With such a sharp sense, those wandering zombies that would look harmless were in reality a ticking time bomb with great explosiveness. This is why zombies were so intimidating. Once they took action, they would become a killing machine that didn't know the word stop. With this kind of momentum, it's no wonder why most people would lose their courage to fight them. Great, we can let you two lead the way. The spirit tentacles came out from Ling Mo and controlled the zombies. By now, Ling Mo's spirit power had already grown powerful enough to easily control regular zombies. He could even control up to 10 zombies if needed. Yet controlling was one thing. Making use of them to their full potential was a different story. Ling Mo just wasn't strong enough yet to make them use their full potential. Controlling 10 zombies was not the same as making 10 zombies do something all at the same time. Ye Lian and Shana were a bit different. Ling Mo didn't really need to control them that much since they had a bit of consciousness already. He basically had them on autopilot. As for those normal zombies, they had all lost their consciousness, so all their actions had to be controlled by Ling Mo. No matter how talented someone is, it's hard to multitask with that amount of zombies. Not to mention Ling Mo was pretty much a normal person before the apocalypse. Ling Mo understood that in order to be powerful, it takes practice. A person does not just get powerful by getting superpowers and not using them. This was the key point of getting more powerful. But practicing spirit power needed to be gradual, or else you might end up hurting yourself. So Ling Mo could only slowly practice and gradually enhance the intensity of each practice. When the two zombies dashed to the side of the grove, they stopped and stood there for a second. They moved their bodies in a weird way, changed directions, and slowly left. Sure. Satsu. The people who came out afterwards were Ling Mo and the zombie girls. In taking this path, they had to go across the green area, which made their clothes and hair wet by the morning dew. Although Ye Lian and Shana both wore coats, their hair still got wet. The wet hair position behind their heads gave them a more beautiful look, which made Ling Mo unable to stop staring and wishing to look at it a bit more. The weather seemed to be affected too by the apocalypse. Usually at this time, X City would be a bit warmer, but right now it's only 1 hour away from the morning, but the sky still looked pretty dark. Ling Mo was happy that he brought a thick coat. He predicted that most people were still probably wearing summer outfits. They must be having a very hard time. The two zombies were leading the way, followed by Ling Mo and the two girl zombies. If a normal person saw this, they would probably be scared to death. A lot of zombies spotted them, but Ling Mo didn't kill them. Instead, he controlled them. After a short period of time, it had become a team of 7 zombies and the 2 girl zombies. To Ling Mo's surprise, there's a zombie that's halfway through becoming a mutated zombie. But he felt disappointed afterwards, cause the gel it had was very small. Probably just turned. It's still a gel, thought Ling Mo. So he put it in his bag, and then controlled another zombie with shitty luck that decided to walk by. 7 was Ling Mo's limit in controlling zombies and also making them do tasks at the same time. His spirit power wasn't that strong enough to multitask even more, so he decided he needed to improve by practicing with his spirit tentacles more. Ling Mo used the puppet zombies to kill all the zombies they met afterwards. Although the zombies he controlled didn't have weapons, the other zombies wouldn't take the initiative to attack them. It's simple to kill zombies that just stood there and did nothing. With the amount of power that the control zombies had, it was easy to break the necks of the regular zombies. While the number of zombies increased, Ling Mo's puppet zombies had started to get injuries. The more injuries the puppet zombie had, the bigger the disadvantage it would have on the next battle. When a regular zombie saw a puppet zombie, it wouldn't attack it. It would just stand there and let the puppet zombie attack it. But if the puppet zombie didn't kill it after the first attack, it would fight back in a frenzy. Ling Mo had a hard time in the beginning controlling the puppet zombies to fight, but eventually he got the hang of it. During each fight, he would between the puppet zombies and regular zombies. He would use his spirit tentacles to slow the other zombies down a bit or distract them. From where Ling Mo is standing, he was like a tentacle shooting machine. The 20 tentacles shooting out from him were used to control his puppet zombies and distract the other zombies. Whenever Ling Mo lost a zombie, he would just take control of another one. With Ye Lian and Shana providing support, everything went smoothly. On the way to their destination, they left nearly 50 zombie corpses. Yet Ling Mo still looked clean without any bloodstains on him. This fighting method turned out to be so godly. Right now, the number of zombies he could control wasn't a lot, but when Ling Mo's spirit power reaches a certain point, he might be able to control hundreds or even thousands of zombies. He was basically a captain of zombie group right now, but who knows what will happen in the future. Maybe he might even have a zombie army. It's hard to say how good he will be, but from what he sees so far, he wouldn't be weak in the future. But in order to be that good, his spirit power needs to advance to a level in which he couldn't imagine right now. Ling Mo quickly calmed down from excitement. The future might look good, but he still needs to take it step by step. Ye Lian and Shana killed the last 2 zombies and came to him. Shana had good knife skills. Although her knife was covered with blood, her body was a different story. It had only a little bit of blood. Ye Lian was the same, whose ability tended to be focused on speed. No one would be able to see her once she used her full power to attack. She was also getting familiar with the knife she was currently using, unless she was surrounded. If she got surrounded by zombies, she would still reach out with her hand. Honestly, snatching the heart is not a good habit. Change it. Ling Mo sighed and wiped her hands. After an hour, Ling Mo finally reached Peace Theater with his zombie puppets. Killing zombies on the way wasn't really that hard, but it's extremely annoying to Ling Mo when the zombies get attracted to blood that is being spilled after he kills them. At last, he sacrificed 2 zombies and attracted the zombies to an opposite direction. In the beginning, before he came to Exeter University, he didn't really know the estimated amount of zombies currently in that area, but right now he assumes that it's as big as 30,000. Even though he chose the path where zombies were less, he still had a tough time getting through. He could imagine how hard it was for normal people to survive with that many zombies roaming around. He thought he was very lucky to team up with Lin Luanqui. Otherwise, who knows which path he would have taken and how many more zombies he would have had to deal with. The door was slightly open with a small gap. Ling Mo sent a zombie to go in and see how it was inside. The moment he landed on the steps, he realized it must have been like hell in there. There's a lot of bloodstains on the front door, and those stains followed to a short hallway. The hall wasn't clean either. Just looking at it, he could tell that horrible things had happened here. After crossing through the hallway, they saw a middle-sized theater. Although it wasn't bright, the puppet zombie had great vision, so it wasn't that hard to see everything clearly. Using his psychic powers to see what the zombie was seeing, Ling Mo felt his hair on his back stand up. Bloody was the one word he could describe everything. From a zombie's vision, he could see everything except for the backstage. He would need a close look for that area. It was not a big theater. The capacity was around 1,000 people in the 2 floors, but it had turned into a slaughterhouse. The walls and seats had been splashed with blood. After a few seconds, Ling Mo pulled himself together and carefully guided the zombie puppet into the theater. The scene currently wasn't only caused by the apocalypse. The zombies also fought each other as well. The zombies were cruel, yet also very stupid. They would stay immobilized after reaching the target of their attraction until they found their next prey. In this kind of closed area, they would only kill each other off until a conscious mutated zombie appears or an advanced one appears. Ling Mo's heart made a BA bump sound. If all the zombies are dead, he might have came here in vain. But when Ling Mo controlled the zombie puppet to the stage, he knew that he thought too much. Some shadows were walking around. There were even some on the path. There were about 30 zombies, although it's not a lot. They seemed to be a bit stronger than normal zombies. Although they weren't mutated zombies, they probably weren't far from being one. If they had started to kill each other one more time, the ones who managed to survive might be able to become mutated zombies. The controlled zombie started walking by them, and in the process it still made some noise which made the other zombies in the room look at it. If they went crazy, this zombie might be torn into pieces. Luckily, the other zombies didn't do anything at the moment. They probably didn't feel like fighting. Are there only these zombies that were halfway through mutating? Aren't there any mutated or advanced ones? Ling Mo felt disappointed. He had assumed that since it was such a big theater, there should have been a lot of people that were killed. He had thought that there should have been at least 10 or more mutated zombies here. He carefully went around the zombies and went to the back of the stage. The moment he reached the backstage of the hall, Ling Mo suddenly felt a dangerous feeling. When he turned around, a dark shadow rushed towards him. Only advanced zombies hide and have such quick speed. Ling was surprised and thought, oh fuck me. Do zombies like to sneak attacks or something? Or is this some kind of racial habit? Advanced zombies can make judgments and use tactics since they have a bit of consciousness. Since he was the only zombie walking around, it made him stand out. Apparently advanced zombies could hide and wait for others to come before it attacked. Since Ling Mo only expected mutated zombies to be in the theater, he didn't prepare the zombie puppet with any weapons. Unexpectedly, the zombie turned out to be an advanced one. The zombie's movements were pretty smooth. It had leaped very high and then attacked with its skinny hands, which sort of looked like an eagle's claw. Ling Mo had wanted to hide in the beginning, but then he thought to himself, it isn't his body anyways. Might as well see how good he was in controlling a zombie to fight the advanced one. Under this kind of life or death battle, his psychic powers were of no use at the moment. He used the arm to block. Ling Mo realized that the powers between the previous advanced zombie he had fought and the current one weren't even close. This one was even stronger than the one at the mall. Since it was not his body, Ling Mo's reaction wasn't that fast, so when he raised the arm, the advanced zombie grabbed it and threw him on the ground. Even though zombies didn't feel pain, Ling Mo was still shocked. This piece of shit is so fucking powerful and fast. Ling Mo tried to make a quick plan, but the zombie was already running towards him. Ling Mo quickly controlled the zombie to roll over, but it was still a bit too slow. Even though it dodged part of the attack from the claw, it still made a long cut on its body. This fucking sucks that I can't use my spirit tentacles through my zombie puppet, or else I could have blocked it. In the past, Ling Mo couldn't even control the advanced girl zombie in the mall. Now he had the confidence to do so. Even if he couldn't control it right away in battle, he could at least distract its movements with his powers. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to use his tentacles through the controlled zombie's body. His only option was to run deeper into the backstage, despite his zombie was leaking blood. Ling Mo's plan was to lure this advanced zombie to a spot where they could ambush it with the other zombie puppets. If the advanced zombie kills all the puppets, he and Ye Lian would team up then and kill the advanced zombie. By then it probably wouldn't be so hard to kill it. But just when he was controlling the zombie dash through the washroom, an arm reached out and grabbed it. TL. So sorry guys for the delay in this chapter. Took a while to translate since it was a pretty long chapter. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. The sudden hand that came out of the door grabbed the zombie puppet while the advanced zombie rushed towards the door at the same time. Oh crap, it definitely was a zombie, since a survivor wouldn't appear in this zombie-infested building. This zombie will certainly be attacked by both sides though. What kind of zombie would dare snatch the food from advanced zombie? Ling Mo imagined how it would play out in his head. In the next few seconds, his puppet and the zombie snatcher will be torn to pieces by the advanced zombie. But to Ling Mo's surprise, this advanced zombie actually stopped at the door. It had no intention to run in. On the contrary, there was a trace of vigilance and fear in the blood-red eyes. He issued a threatening low-pitched roar and bowed, slightly preparing to launch an attack, but he didn't enter the door. What the fuck's going on? Ling Mo quickly manipulated the puppet and turned to look at the zombie behind him, but found that the zombie was not a normal zombie. He had a typical white face, short stature, big nose that was half ripped off, exposing half of its nostrils, which made it look very scary. But the white hair on top of his head had long been glued together by blood plasma, and the dirty dress on him looked very funny. However, in his bloody red eyes, he showed a very fierce look. Ling Mo vaguely thought that the strength of this white zombie seemed to be stronger. He scanned through the room from the puppet site, and he discovered a ton of corpses, which were probably eaten by the white zombie. However, it seemed like the white zombie only ate the back of the brain of every corpse, whereas the body itself was still intact. To Ling Mo's surprise, there were still 2 or 3 seemingly fresh bodies. Does this zombies go out to look for food? Ling Mo quickly glanced inside the house and found out that on the other side of the washroom, there was a window leading to the outside, and the window's glass had disappeared. This advanced zombie sure is intelligent. It knows how to go look for food, as well as making a nest here. Seems like these 2 advanced zombies don't attack each other and share this place, one in the front of the stage and on in the back of the stage. Also seems like they have coexisted for quite some time. They probably didn't leave this place because of the existence of each other and had some sort of balance. Unfortunately, this balance was broken when the puppet came in. The advanced zombie had probably believed he wouldn't meet the white zombie face to face if he chased after the puppet zombie. But he didn't expect the puppet zombie to be so nimble with a weird behavior. At this time, it looked very scared at the eyes of the white zombie, but it was reluctant to retreat. The 2 advanced zombies immediately stayed in deadlock. As an advanced zombie, it would no longer fight crazily to kill the other. In the balance of power between the 2 sides, they would rather wait a while before fighting. The mutant zombies usually increase their powers by engulfing each other, but the mutant zombies gel gives minimal help toward advanced zombies. Since these 2 advanced zombies were not in a hurry to kill each other, it meant that their evolution was not solely based on eating each other. The zombies can now be counted as a new race. It seems that their evolution was not so simple. However, such rapid growth was really shocking. The white zombie at the door placed Ling Mo's zombie puppet in his hand, and the blood continued to dribble down his back and soon formed a pool of blood on the ground. The advanced zombie outside the door were stimulated by the blood. In the throat of the white zombies, there was also a grilling sound, and the sound seemed a bit rapid, seemed to warn the advanced zombie outside. Vaguely, Ling Mo seemed to hear human words. Otto, get out. Get the fuck out. The white zombie repeated it 2 or 3 times in a row, but Ling Mo never heard clearly, nor did he know if it's because this guy's nose was half ripped off. After Ling Mo pulled himself together, he realized that this was a good opportunity. The 2 advanced zombies were quite similar in strength, and seemed to have been trying to swallow each other, but were unable to do so. Both are waiting for an opportunity, probably. Although the puppet could not break away from the control of this advanced zombie by itself, but under the control of Ling Mo, it twisted its body without hesitation. With its strength that was much stronger than a human's, it broke its arm, clenched its fist, and slammed it into the white zombie's eyes. The white zombie didn't expect for its prey to escape from its grasp. To an even bigger surprise, it didn't expect a zombie to punch. It was confused for a bit. However, its reaction was still very fast. When Ling Mo's puppet was just about to throw the second punch, it kicked right away. However, Ling Mo was determined to make the white zombie bleed, so he didn't shy away. Instead, he grabbed the ankle of this white zombie. Rip! While the puppet was kicked away, its sharp nails also created a wound for the white zombie. Blood immediately soaked its legs. The puppet had gotten its ribs broken and wasn't far from death. Seeing that the advanced zombie outside was still hesitant, Ling Mo got pissed, thinking, "You're fucking useless. No wonder you were being yelled at like a bitch by the white zombie. I gave you such a big help and you're not attacking." The white zombies had self-consciousness apparently. He immediately recoiled backwards after he was injured, but Ling Mo's attack was really harmful. It almost completely tore his legs apart. A long cut appeared on its leg, which was full of hair. The blood continued to gush, and the advanced zombie outside the door finally couldn't hold back and finally roared and dashed in. Ling Mo was relieved and took the tentacles back. Taking the advantage of this opportunity, Ling Mo controlled 4 puppet zombies to move into the theater. The normal zombies that were near the backstage panicked a bit when they saw the 4 puppets, but didn't attack until Ling Mo controlled the puppets to kill 4 zombies near them, making the zombies go berserk. The crazy killing of nearly 30 zombies looked incredible with Ling Mo's manipulation. Although 2 of them died, in the process the other 2 were walking around the other zombies and randomly attacking them. Shana and Ye Lian also took action at this time. Once these 2 mutant zombies attacked, they were unstoppable. While the number of zombies in the theater were rapidly declining, Ling Mo himself followed in and helped kill the last few remaining zombies. About 2/3 of the 30 zombies had already condensed to gel. Despite the small amount and poor quality, it was still better than nothing. This also proves that Ling Mo's prediction was right. In the process of a zombie's progression to becoming a mutant zombie, there was also a chance of them forming a gel. Just like how humans have strong and weak body types, zombies also have differences. Some gels do not appear until they're fully advanced, while others slowly produce their gels as they progress. However, these gels that appear can only be considered effective. Only when they reach a qualitative change can the zombies really advance to be mutant zombies. The same thing applies to advanced zombies. Just like the 2 advanced zombies, the direction and strength of evolution were obviously different. The white zombie had superior speed, and the one outside had more strength. Like the direction of evolution for Ye Lian should also be speed. As for Shana, Ling Mo has no clue so far. Predicting that the 2 advanced zombies inside should be done by now, Ling Mo, Ye Lian, and Shana cautiously went into the backstage. After entering the backstage, both of them seemed anxious, apparently evoked by the fierce battles of 2 powerful advanced zombies. Ling Mo said quickly, "Don't be afraid. I got a plan on how to take advantage of this." Upon entering the backstage of the corridor, waves of muffled noises continued to linger, and the sound that reverberated in the empty hallways would probably make people feel shocked. 2 advanced zombies with different yet equal strengths would not easily finish a fight that fast. Ling Mo didn't rush to approach them, but hid from a distance and slowly approached. The washroom looked like a mess, and even the doors had been completely smashed. Apparently, this was how the 2 advanced zombies fought. Ling Mo secretly thought that if he hadn't let them kill each other, he and the other 2 female zombies wouldn't have been able to take them down. When he cautiously appeared near the door, the 2 advanced zombies were still scuffling, and the white zombie that predominated in speed apparently had the upper hand. Although he was injured in multiple places, he was better than the other advanced zombie. Despite his leg injury, which rendered him unable to jump, it could still manage to dodge its opponent's attack. The other advanced zombie seemed to lack intelligence, but with his brutal force, he wouldn't be defeated that fast. However, Ling Mo could see that the white zombie was always circling around its opponent and randomly attacking different open spots. Although it caused minimal damage, as the battle progresses, more wounds would accumulate, making the end result with the advanced zombie being dead sooner or later. That's really disappointing. Ling Mo secretly shook his head, and at the same time shot out the spirit tentacle to grab the white zombie. Although it was impossible to bind it with the tentacles, it caused continuous mistakes and constant delay in its movements. In this way, the advanced zombie immediately gained the upper hand, but when it was about to kill the white zombie, it got stuck into Ling Mo's tentacle and got defeated by the white zombie. After several consecutive encounters, the two advanced zombies made a two-sided loss under the intervention of Ling Mo. The entire washroom was filled with their blood. Shana, Ye Lian, time to snatch someone's head. Seeing that the two of them were reaching to the end of the fight, Ling Mo made one last interference. The white zombie couldn't manage to dodge and got knocked out by the advanced zombie. After the advanced zombie succeeded in knocking the white zombie down, it immediately charged, not giving the white zombie enough time to get up. Bang! A loud, muffled sound, and the cracking sound of the bones was also mixed with it. This is real brute force, Ling Mo secretly thought. Without Ling Mo saying anything, Ye Lian and Shana stabbed them. No matter how intelligent the zombie was, it still couldn't beat Ling Mo in his schemes. Under the combined surprise attack of Shana and Ye Lian, this advanced zombie corpse was cut into half before it could even turn its head. Fortunately, the two mutant female zombies dodged quickly, and so they were not splashed with blood. Ling Mo stood by the doorway. Although he had an extreme headache, he was very happy. There was practically no chance of winning if they were facing any of those two advanced zombies. Even if by some small chance of winning, they would probably not end up well either. Although he could probably use the semi-evolved puppet zombies to manipulate them and attack the two advanced zombies, he knew that after the experience of confronting them, the puppet zombies would be no different from cannon fodder. Ye Lian and Shana would be able to hold their own for a while, but eventually they would lose. In terms of speed, the white zombie was faster than Ye Lian, and both Ye Lian and Shana's strength was weaker than the advanced zombie. Obviously, if you can't win by strength or agility, use your brain. Ling Mo sacrificed one puppet zombie to break their balance and got two ruby-like pure gels. This deal was totally worth it. Plus, they also got a lot of the crappy gels as well. After taking a few deep breaths, Ling Mo had finally calmed down from his excitement. Enough. These gels are enough to let Ye Lian evolve to advanced zombie. We didn't come to X City University in vain. After both gels were removed, the bodies of the two advanced zombies were basically useless. Ling Mo looked outside the window, which had some bloodstains. They were probably caused by the white zombie when he was pulling back the corpse. Does this white zombie have a habit of storing food? Ling Mo thinks this was a bit unbelievable. Don't zombies just eat right away? While Ling Mo was still doubting, his eyes scanned the corpses, and he noticed a fresh body whose brain hadn't been opened yet. The red bloody eyes on the corpse proved that it was a zombie's body. It seems like the white zombie did have a habit of storing food. However, if he was slightly smarter, he could have just taken the gel out and left the corpse alone. If this white zombie had been given more time to grow to the point that it could dominate the advanced zombie, it probably would have taken the initiative to attack it. Based on the fact that there weren't many corpses piled up here, the white zombie probably didn't have a big appetite, and also most of the zombie corpses that were in the pile were normal zombies. That also meant that the need of gels for an advanced zombie became very low. Thinking about this, Ling Mo had gotten a better understanding of advanced zombies, yet still had a vague concept. Advanced zombies should have self-growth, right? In addition to generating self-awareness, they should also have recovered some memories, like the white zombie shouted out a vague, odd. Originally, Ling Mo felt that this place was not suitable for evolving, but when he took the gel to the bathroom, Ye Lian approached him, showing a hint of lust. It was rare to see Ye Lian's eyes, revealing her feelings in addition to closeness. Ling Mo thought, oh well, I guess we will do it here then, and gave her the gel. Since she wanted it, it was indeed very urgent to her. Maybe if she ate a piece, she could evolve. Instead of giving both to Ye Lian, he decided to give it separately, just in case Ye Lian evolves after eating one, so he would be able to let Shana eat the extra one. Before eating, he first brought Ye Lian and Shana to the next room, and blocked the door with furniture. He felt much more comfortable feeding them in a safer place. After eating the gel, Ye Lian's eyes immediately began to turn red, and her aura became more bloodthirsty and furious. Ye Lian was becoming an advanced zombie. Her instincts had also been fully liberated. Currently, she gave people a feeling like some sort of wild beast with a strong pressure. The pressure rose to the same height as the two advanced zombies. At the same time, Ling Mo also felt an unprecedented frantic atmosphere that swept his mind. If he hadn't held on, he might have gone crazy. The stormy spiritual force rushed so fast, almost making Ling Mo lose his soul. Ye Lian was also suffering. The virus had spread through her body and started to gather at the back of her brain, and the quality of the gel was rapidly increasing. The whole process took about 2 hours, yet for Ling Mo, it felt like several days. When Ye Lian's eyes went back to normal, she melted in Ling Mo's chest. The two of them piled on the sofa. He and Ye Lian's clothes had been soaked with cold sweat. His forehead was also full of sweat. The two held each other tightly. Shana has been watching quietly this whole time. When she finally saw that Ye Lian had calmed down, she used the cuffs from her clothes to wipe the sweat for Ye Lian and Ling Mo. Although the action was a bit clumsy, it still let Ling Mo reveal a smile. Ye Lian lay softly on Ling Mo's chest. Her breathing seemed to be a bit more rapid. Her eyes were still a bit red, but it was much better than before. After calming down, Ling Mo knew that Ye Lian was now no longer a mutant zombie. She was now an advanced zombie. Although Ye Lian has turned into an advanced zombie, she wasn't fully recovered, yet since her evolution was a huge upgrade, rather than a simple one. Seeing that Ye Lian has calmed down, Ling Mo wanted to be fair and gave the last gel to Shana. Comparing to Shana's devouring process, it was much calmer. Maybe it was also due to the fact that she decided to faint after looking at Ling Mo. Without knowing why she had fainted, Shana's promotion didn't give Ling Mo much of a surprise, especially in regard to the physical aspect. With the improvement of both female zombies, it brought a huge impact and changes to Ling Mo. In the process of waiting for them to recover, Ling Mo was also experiencing his own changes. He noticed that first, the strength of his spirit tentacles were significantly stronger than before, which meant that both his controllability and influence had greatly improved. However, what made him most excited was the ability of pushing things with the tentacles. Before he could only move a leaf, but now he could move a seat with his spirit tentacles. Although he was still far away from his dream of using spirit tentacles to beat the shit out of people, he has at least taken a big step in the right direction. After the feeling of happiness started to end, he seemed to realize he was tired. Ling Mo hugged Shana, and the three of them fell off into a deep sleep. It wasn't easy to recover mental power from exhaustion. When Ling Mo opened his eyes again, it was already bright outside. He sat up with soreness all over his body and slowly felt his energy coming back to him after a few 10 seconds. Go-go. There were weird sounds coming from his stomach, and his throat felt like it was burning of thirst. From these physical reactions, he estimated that he had passed out for 2 or 3 days. Ling Mo quickly looked around and felt relieved when he saw Ye Lian and Shana. He took a bottle of beverage to drink and felt better. Ye Lian. He turned and looked at Ye Lian. At this time, Ye Lian was curled on the sofa. She was looking at the machete in her hands with her deep black eyes. But when she heard Ling Mo's low voice, she immediately turned around. At first, she had a slight sense of confusion in her eyes, but soon her eyes immediately revealed a surprised look. She immediately put her machete to one side, and in a flash, Ling Mo immediately felt like his chest got hit by a truck. He had just sat up a few moments ago and was already knocked back down. Ouch! Although Ye Lian's actions are very skillful and light, but Sofa was quite shitty and uncomfortable. After Ling Mo was knocked back down, he felt that his body seemed to have spread out like an eagle. Ye Lian, who was currently hugging him on his chest, seemed like she wasn't willing to let go. When Ling Mo pulled himself together, he immediately felt the elasticity of Ye Lian's amazing breasts, which were stuck to his chest. Her face was close to his shoulders. Her arms were tightly embracing him. With such a situation, Ling Mo felt like he was on cloud 9. Ye Lian, did you think of something? Ling Mo couldn't help asking after hugging her for a long time. When Ye Lian heard him asking, she reluctantly released him and let him sit up. Ye Lian paused and thought for a while and slowly spit out 2 words. Ling brother. At this moment, Ling Mo's eyes widened. He could see that Ye Lian did not recover too much memory, but she already had a bit of rationality, and the most crucial thing was that the first person she remembered was him. How could this not make Ling Mo happy? He stared at Ye Lian for a while and then hugged her. Upon hearing a cough beside them, Ling Mo was awoken from his daze. Brother Ling? I don't remember calling you that before, said Shana, who next to them now. She came over when they were hugging, and she had put her chin on Ye Lian's shoulder. Only a few centimeters away from Ling Mo could see Shana's seemingly normal pupil, with a touch of faint bloodlight. Ling Mo suddenly had a weird idea. Was it only possible for zombies that had a spiritual connection with him like Ye Lian and Shana to be able to control their zombie instincts and be like a normal person? After all, zombies were known to always have red eyes due to being in a frenzy state at all times. Yet, Shana still has a glowing bloodlight in her eyes. What does it mean? Although it's not obvious and can't be noticed without careful observation, it was still there. However, now was not the right time to think useless thoughts. Ling Mo leaned over and pinched Shana's lips and smiled. Then that's how you'll call me from now on. After hearing him, Shana turned up a corner of her mouth, revealing a smile that was perfectly familiar to Ling Mo. This smile was the biggest feature that Ling Mo had noticed when he first noticed her. In battle, that kind of extremely enjoyable faint smile. In the blink of an eye, Ling Mo suddenly thought he had been duped. Did the girl never mutate? Okay. Shana's smile quickly softened, but it brought a vivid expression. Her temperament was completely different from before. She was calm and shy girl before. The current her was totally opposite. Ling Mo could feel that Shana should have reached the stage of an advanced zombie, but her physical changes were still not very clear, but rather her mental state was very different. Shana, what did you think of? Ling Mo asked tentatively. Shana clinged to Ye Lian's cheeks and gently rubbed it until Ye Lian tried to hide due to being tickled. She slowly said, basically, how did I become a zombie? Ling Mo's heart made bump sound, but he soon calmed down. Shana's nature was no longer human, or she wouldn't be able to make such a calm statement. He remembered that right before she was going to mutate, she had planned to commit suicide. Without waiting for Ling Mo to mention this, Shana said in a self-deprecating manner, it's strange why I couldn't accept it at that time. Ling Mo thought to himself, you were a human before. Of course you wouldn't be able to accept becoming a mutant zombie. Right now you have zombies' mindset, and you're actually blaming yourself for your past choices. Ah, yeah. Shana suddenly said, you weren't awake before, so I went out for a moment. Ling Mo suddenly paused after she spoke, but became calm right away. Shana's spiritual connection with him still existed, but he couldn't limit her behavior that much. The current him right now could only be away from her up to 1,000 meters before the connection was broken. Seeing Ling Mo paused, Shana immediately smiled. Rest assured, I just went outside to take a look. Anyway, there is Ye Lian's sister guarding you. But unfortunately, there wasn't anything outside, except for some stupid zombie that got attracted to the noise, basically nothing to play with. The tone of Shana did not convey any meaning of regret, but her expression with a faint smile made Linger feel a slight headache. Although she became a zombie, the hobbies and interests of a certain aspect did not change. Was fighting really so enjoyable? Oh yeah. While speaking, Shana seems to have started to undress herself. This movement made Ling Mo fasten his heartbeat. Shana quickly lifted her hand up and opened it. A small gel was lying inside her white hands. Ling Mo suddenly sweated because he had never seen Shana putting her hands on her clothes, so he subconsciously thought of something else. You found it? Ling Mo asked while slowly letting go of Ye Lian and putting the gel in his pocket. Shana nodded. Ye Lian, who was on the side, glanced at the gel, but did not speak. Ling Mo immediately thought of an extremely critical issue and quickly asked, "What do you two think about this gel now?" This problem was a little rough and complicated, and it wasn't until Ling Mo shook the plastic bag on his hand that Shana suddenly realized what he's talking about. She moved towards Ye Lian and said lazily, "Food. If they both aren't interested in the gels no more, what's the next thing that can make them evolve?" Although Ling Mo's spiritual powers have improved, it was mostly due to Ye Lian and Shana evolving. Other than evolving, Ling Mo improved his powers by continuous practice of using his powers. Were advanced zombies able to do the same? Could they improve by continuously learning? Or was it possible to speed up this process by using an advanced zombie's brain gels? Seeing Ling Mo in a deep thought, Ye Lian once again embraced Ling Mo and shouted, "Ling, brother." This familiar voice made Ling Mo's heart melt, and all the troubles seemed to vanish. Shana paused and joined them. In the early morning of the next day, a few zombies were slowly approaching the Peace Theater. Their expressions were all distorted, with blood-red eyes that were round, and they had dirty clothes that clung to their bodies, covered with mud and blood. These zombies' movements were very slow, and from time to time, they stretched their necks and sucked their mouths really hard, as if they were looking for something. Oh! Suddenly, the zombie walking at the front roared in a deep voice, pulled its leg, and then dashed towards the Peace Theater. The rest of the zombies rushed to follow, and several figures quickly approached the Peace Theater. However, as soon as the first zombie stepped on the steps, the front door of the theater was suddenly pushed open. A quick figure emerged from the inside, and then a sudden cold, white light flashed. As the zombie's head flew to the sky, its body was still rushing forward while the figure that had cut its head off had already easily dodged it and went for the zombies behind it. Putain! The headless zombie dashed forward for a few seconds, fell, and then sprayed blood all over the floor. Holy shit! Ling Mo, who had just stepped out of the gate, saw the headless zombie rushing towards him and falling down right in front of him. He quickly jumped to the side and at the same time grabbed Ye Lian behind him and evaded it. All zombies had agile and nimble movements, as well as their strong arms that could rip through human flesh so easily. They were in all aspects better than humans, yet there was still no match against an advanced zombie that had good knife skills. Looking at Shana, who was standing over several bodies and holding a long knife while smiling, Ling Mo felt a sudden headache. It became apparent that her memory seemed to have also integrated with the nature of a zombie. Shana seemed to have finally awakened something from within her. Maybe the pleasure of killing? Fortunately, at least when she's with him, she would still behave. She only kills zombies. These zombies are all garbage. They have nothing in their heads, Shana said with disappointment after picking open the back of the brain with a long knife. Ling Mo thought in his head, they already lucky bumping into prey sometimes, while they also had a higher chance of randomly killing each other and also not getting food. Just because they don't have gels condensed in the back of their heads, you're calling them garbage? That's really not fair. Ling, brother, where are we? Where are we going? Ye Lian asked. Her voice was very special, soft but not too much with a crispy feeling to it, felt extremely comfortable every time you heard it. But she talked a bit slow due to not talking for a long time, as well as it takes a while for her to think of the correct words. Ling Mo's heart suddenly had a hint of warmth. Although she started only talking for one day, the progress of Ye Lian has been great. He thought, advanced zombies much have great learning abilities. In fact, they learn much faster than the average infant because the knowledge was originally stored in their brains, but because of the influence of the virus, it was basically suppressed. We are heading towards the A1 school building. It's not too far from here. Although the gels currently have little effect on your evolution, it is at least food for you guys. After taking out the map Lin Luanqui gave, Ling Mo pointed to the marked A1 school building. Ye Lian leaned over and looked at it, but it seemed that she didn't remember it. She just nodded and said, "Yes." "What is this?" Shana asked, walking with a long knife that had blood dripping from it. She curiously stretched her head and looked at it. Then she grabbed it away. "Hey, map, stop fooling around. We need this for directions." Ling Mo thought to himself, no one knows the correct way to our destination. If we lost this map, we would be like headless flies, flying cluelessly around. There are no signs in the campus, which was kind of weird for such a big school. Had to say that Lin Luanqui had a knack for drawing maps. For normal routes, she only sketched it, but for those remote sections, she made the paths that zombies appear less very clear. However, Even with the map, the three of them had already walked for 2 hours, yet they were still only halfway. There were too many zombies on the road. Even if the spiritual power of Ling Mo had been upgraded to a certain level, and with a team of 20 zombies, the huge gap in the numbers still made the walking process very slow. Another problem was that there honestly wasn't anything useful on the road to help speed up the process. There were only buildings or plants on the road. It was hard to find anything useful, and in order to find something useful, usually you would have to provoke a large group of zombies. Ling Mo wasn't stupid enough to do something like that. Also, before the apocalypse, the school's secret paths only had a few things that could probably have been useful. When we say useful, it means like weapons. When the apocalypse happened, those useful things were taken and used to escape, which led to the remaining 3,000 survivors currently still alive. This also indicated that the virus spread so fast, and the chance of getting it when it was released was very high. Not to mention the ones that got injured while escaping and then later transformed into zombies. The current setting within this school is now basically the same as the rest of the world. They would have been slower in getting to their destinations if Ye Lian and Shana hadn't evolved to advanced zombies. Ye Lian was extremely fast, just like a cheetah. Usually when they just rushed into a crowd of zombies, she would already kill a bunch of them before they reacted. As for Shana, is that she had great sword skills, especially after she recovered her memory. Her moves were even more smoother and unstoppable. Even though zombies had great physical strength, their energy wasn't endless. In fact, they try to reduce physical exertion as much as possible, since when they fight, they actually use a lot of energy. The main reason why they were stronger than humans was because the virus made them unable to respond to pain as well as having no sense of fear. Of course, with the evolution, some of Theseus' senses would slowly return to them. Yet the zombies would not be afraid of evolving, since in return, they would become more intelligent and more powerful than humans. At the same time, in terms of physical strength and regenerative abilities, they were better in both aspects than ordinary people, which meant that their output would be greater than a human's, making battles last longer. Due to zombies unable to understand how to stop, they overexert themselves and damage their bodies most of the time. Fortunately, Ling Mo understood this and wouldn't let Ye Lian and Shana keeping fighting endless battles. When they were exhausted, he would swap them with the zombie team to replace them. If Ling Mo didn't care about his lover, he would have already reached the A1 building. But he would never do things like sacrificing or hurting his lover. So, tired, looking at the 20 zombies walking slowly in front of him, Ling Mo felt a bit dizzy. Although he could probably recover his physical strength by letting the two zombie girls fight while he took a step back, after looking at Shana and Ye Lian's tired faces, Ling Mo thought it might be better to find a place to rest. Looking for food wasn't easy for zombies or humans. He thought to himself, there's no reason for him to rush. So he took them to a library to rest. Although places like this might have people in them, he took a chance because the space was big enough. As for the 20 zombies, he left them outside the door. There were two reasons why he had left them there. First one mainly because they stank like shit. The second reason was because they could guard the area since Ling Mo had a spiritual connection with each zombie and could control them to stand guard over a certain area. This place is creepy. Ling Mo didn't feel right when he stepped into the library. Inside the spacious hall, there were only rows of desks with computers and bookshelves. The place was a mess. Ling Mo took 2 steps forward and then stopped with disgust. He was stepping on a ripped piece of clothing, which had blood plasma that was solidified and bones underneath it. It looked like no survivors had come by before, but when Ling Mo looked down, he realized this bone has been stepped on several times. It was so fragile that after he stepped on it, the bone totally broke to pieces. Since there were survivors passing through this place, there shouldn't be a lot of zombies around, but just in case, better check around. Good thing was that they could split up. Ling Mo randomly picked one direction and slowly walked into the bookshelves. Because the door had been open for a while, the shelves were all covered with dust. Most of the books were wet and probably will eventually decay afterwards. Walking in a cramped space between the shelves in such a quiet place would make people paranoid. It gives the vibe that a zombie might just pop out at any time. Luckily, Shana's and Ye Lian's vision could be shared, so there was no need to be so nervous. Comparing to Ling Mo, the other two girls were much bolder. Probably it's due to them being a higher level zombie. A normal zombie would tend to fear zombies that were higher in level, so they mostly wouldn't need to fear anything unless it was an advanced zombie or higher. Ho! A wind blew from outside the door. Ling Mo shivered a bit. There was nothing on the first floor. Ling Mo and the other two met up and went to the second floor. The second floor had a long hallway that led to a study room with a gate on the outside. The moment Ling Mo stepped into the gate from outside, a large steel stick came flying towards his head. Ling Mo dodged backwards and shot out a tentacle, making the direction of the steel stick change. This really scared the crap out of Ling Mo, but he wasn't slow in calming himself down. The moment he dodged the steel stick, he slashed towards the direction the steel stick came from. Ah! There was a scream. Ling Mo's short knife stopped when it was less than 1 centimeter from body. He stared at the attacker and saw a guy who had widened eyes with fear and despair staring back at him. The knife was almost in that person's stomach. If it went any deeper, that person would be dead for sure. Don't kill me. I thought you were a zombie, the guy said while shaking. Ling Mo coldly looked at the guy, quietly, and slowly took out the knife. The blood on the knife had already soaked the guy's thin clothes, but the guy wasn't hurt or anything, just scared shitless. The guy dropped down after feeling his legs melt beneath him. Everyone that close to death would have the same reaction unless you had a very strong mentality. The moment the guy screamed, some boys with steel sticks came out. They had expressions like they were going to fight a big enemy, but upon seeing Ling Mo, they paused. A boy with 2 girls didn't look anywhere near threatening. A guy even cursed before asking, "You Yang, you okay?" In the middle of cursing while he was helping Yu Yang get up, he noticed the blood on Yu Yang's stomach and immediately looked at Ling Mo and angrily said, "Fuck you. You dare to harm our people? Did Long Fei tell you to come and steal? Fuck you." Guys, beat his ass up. Ling Mo's expression became dark. Of course, he didn't know who the fuck Long Fei was, but this guy started to curse at him for no reason, and he even wanted to attack him. Kata! Ling Mo twisted his neck and took 2 steps forward while coldly looking at the guys. Ye Lian gave a cold look, but when she was ready to take action, Shana stopped her. Shana told Ye Lian in a low voice with her signature smile, "Let Ling Mo get rid of them. Humans are much more fun than zombies." Ye Lian didn't seem to understand, but when she got stopped by Shana, she stopped moving. The boys seemed a bit hesitant about fighting due to weird situation. They saw how this new group only had a huge bag full of supplies and didn't look like thieves. But seeing Ling Mo giving a well-come-on-in attitude, the guy started to curse again. Whatever. He harmed Yu Yang. Fuck him up. At this moment, if Yu Yang had said something, everything could have been avoided. Yet he did the opposite. He looked at Ling Mo with hatred and said, "He must have been told to come here and take away our food by Long Fei." The guys got irritated. One of them took a steel stick and attacked Ling Mo. Seemed like he was aiming to kill. This made Ling Mo really pissed off. Without using any of his powers, Ling Mo used his knife and stabbed the guy right below his ribs and then twisted it. Aw! Ling Mo pulled out the knife and blood started to spray. The guy tried to take a few steps forward but then got kicked down by Shana. The others roared and realized their companion got easily knocked out, so they all stopped. Fuck you. These people have never seen someone fight this good. The guy who was cursing the most also didn't know what to do. He paused and shouted, "Call for more people to come," and it was a shame that before he finished talking, Ling Mo had gotten in front of him and kicked him right in the face. By the time the guy got back up, he was already nose bleeding. Ling Mo was already in front of him with his knife on him. "Don't kill Emmy." He kept crying to beg for mercy. Wanted to move backwards, but he was too afraid and couldn't move. Within a short period of time, Ling Mo had completely intimidated these guys by knocking 3 of them out. These guys were pretty strong for normal human beings, but they were facing Ling Mo, who could move much faster than they could without any hesitation. To Ling Mo, stabbing people was just like stabbing zombies. He could do it so fast, even though he didn't really need to. All he really needed was the right angle, and he could probably catch his opponent off guard. After gaining stronger spiritual power, Ling Mo didn't only get an increase in strength for his puppet skills, he also gained a bit in all other aspects. His reaction for his brain was much faster than his body's reaction right now. He was much stronger than ordinary people in terms of observation and concentration. The ordinary guys look strong, but in front of Ling Mo, they are just garbage. Ling Mo had complete dominance in this fight, since he had experience in fighting with his life was on the line. Even if his current strength couldn't beat pros, it was enough for dealing with ordinary people. Ling Mo pointed his knife on the neck of one of the guys. Blood had started to flow down the guy's skin. The strong feeling of fear made him start to cry. It was quite embarrassing for a guy to cry due to fear, but nobody was laughing. Maybe no matter how bold you were, you still wouldn't remain calm when you were facing death. It's hard to understand if you've never been through it. The other people in the room just looked at Ling Mo. They couldn't talk. That Yu Yang guy was now regretting to have irritated Ling Mo. Although he failed the sneak attack and almost got killed by Ling Mo, he wasn't aware how good Ling Mo was. He just thought Ling Mo was just slightly better than him. Who could blame him? Not a lot of people know about the psychic powers that now exist for some humans. He was even regretting that if his attack missed, if it didn't, everything would be fine. Everything was out of his expectations. "Don't kill me. Don't kill me." The guy was begging for mercy. Ling Mo looked at the guy with hatred, and then used the knife and slapped him on the face. The guy screamed with pain and fell down holding his face. The guy who just got stabbed wasn't actually dead, but he was stepped on by Shana, so he couldn't move. He could only just see himself bleeding out on the floor. Ling Mo didn't hold back on that stab. Although he didn't stab on fatal spot, the guy might still die due to excessive bleeding. Ling Mo was planning to leave since there were other survivors, but after getting into a fight with them, he suddenly didn't want to leave. Ling Mo knew that even though there were probably a lot of survivors in here, Ling Mo wouldn't mind killing them all if they suddenly attacked him. He had 20 zombies outside waiting for his orders. Apparently, because they saw that his group only consisted of 1 boy and 2 girls, they had the right to bully them. With this kind of attitude that they had, they definitely deserved to be punished. The scream had gotten the attention of the people in other rooms. A fat white security guard came while lifting his pants up, making it look like he had just slept with someone. The fat white guy that looked like a pervert was apparently the group's leader. He was shocked by what he had seen. It seemed like this guy was a bit smarter than the rest. He didn't come out and immediately attempt to attack Ling Mo. He simply looked around and walked over, looked at Ling Mo with awareness from a few meters away, and asked what happened. Ling Mo was already in a pissed-off mood, so he didn't bother responding. A guy talked with a shaking voice and said, "It's Long Fei." The security guard suddenly looked very serious. You work for Long Fei? How come I've never seen you? Ling Mo thought in his mind. Who the fuck can tell me who Long Fei is? I don't even know who he is. How the fuck could you have possibly seen me before? He coldly looked at Yu Yang. Yu Yang didn't dare to say anything. When he saw Ling Mo looking at him, he quivered and stepped back. Although he claimed that Ling Mo was assigned by Long Fei, but he wasn't really sure. Actually, he just started to somehow realize that when Ling Mo had walked in, he seemed to not know if anyone was here. So if he didn't even know that people were here, how could he possibly be Long Fei's man? But right now his boss came out, and Ling Mo had beaten 3 of his men. He could only shut up and not say anything. The fat white security guard thought in his head, why would someone this powerful work for Long Fei? What does Long Fei, Brother Long, want this time? Why does he have to do this? He and I, Li Danyang, worked at the same school. We were co-workers. Last time we went to collect foods, you guys have took a lot already. The fat white security guard seemed to be afraid of Ling Mo. Even the way he called Long Fei changed. Ling Mo was about to deny everything, but then he saw that the security guard seemed to figure out the truth for himself, even though it was probably wrong. Ling Mo decided to just make a cold laugh without saying anything back. Li Danyang looked at Shana and Ye Lian and thought in his head, they probably aren't with Long Fei. Long Fei definitely wouldn't let 2 beautiful girls come out. Even if he wanted Ling Mo to work for him, he would only give him 1 girl to play with. He absolutely wouldn't give the tall one to Ling Mo because she was so stunning. Although he was a bit paranoid and not 100% sure, he still said, plus, Brother Wei has contacted your boss Long, right? If you're stealing our stuff, you are actually stealing from Brother Wei. Brother Wei? It might be Wei Jun Yen. This is the second time he heard someone mentioning him. The first time was from Tang Xiao Shui. This psychic is so active. He must have contacted nearly everyone in the central area. Long Fei must be another boss of a group of survivors. It seems like they were asked by Wei Jun Yen to gather more food. But there wasn't a lot of resource, so they tried to take Li Danyang's. They must have had a lot of conflicts, so once Ling Mo appeared, they thought he was Long Fei's person. TL, so sorry about the late chapter. My laptop broke and had to buy a new one at Best Buy. TD took a while to set up my laptop. UGG laptops are so expensive. When there is no one to help you in the beginning of the end of the world, whatever supplies you find is basically your life. You wouldn't be sharing your life with others that you wouldn't know. Even Ling Mo himself wasn't willing to share his stuff with others. This wasn't being selfish, it was just trying to survive. After listening to what Li Danyang said, it sounded like Long Fei had stolen their things once before. Ling Mo understood now. This guy was weaker than Long Fei otherwise. Why would he be willing to tolerate this kind of humiliation? This also implies that Long Fei had the ability to cross through a region and steal other people's stuff, while this fat white security guard doesn't. Which means this fat white security guard is kind of afraid of Long Fei's side. He even had to use Wei Jun Yen's name to try and intimidate Ling Mo. Ling Mo began to feel that the power struggles between survivors were so ridiculous, yet also inevitable. It was already hard to get survivors to group together with enough supplies. Even if they did split into different groups, eventually there would be some internal conflict for benefits. In this type of group, they would have to be aware of zombies as well as each other. After understanding everything, Ling Mo made sneer and said, I don't know who Long Fei is, and I'm not here to steal your food. We just came here to take a rest. Li Danyang paused and said, You're not Long Fei's person? Ling Mo sneered and said, Do I look like someone's bitch? Li Danyang was already suspicious about it. Since Ling Mo admitted, he believed it a bit. Then why did you harm our people? Li Danyang went on asking. Isn't it obvious enough? I only came here to get some rest, not come in and start stabbing people. If no one had provoked me in the first place, I wouldn't have harmed anyone. Li Danyang began to think. It seems like he really isn't working for Long Fei, and there's a lot of zombies downstairs, so his story seems plausible. Thinking to this point, he looked at the people who first came out. All the guys' faces went pale, especially Yu Yang. Li Danyang wasn't stupid. He immediately realized what had happened. Apparently, his people attacked first, so Ling Mo fought back. He began to think that the reason why they would attack would be either a misunderstanding or they wanted to take Ling Mo's stuff. Ling Mo was carrying a big bag with 2 beautiful women beside him. If anyone saw this, they would be an idiot not to take it away. Li Danyang looked at the guys, and then coldly looked at Ling Mo. He then proceeded to take a steel stick from a person behind him. His face suddenly looked ferocious and said, Since you're not Long Fei's people, then there's no reason stopping us from taking the food and beauties. Ling Mo's eyes went cold. This guy was cruel. The moment he knew he wasn't Long Fei's people, he not only didn't apologize for what his people did, he tried to threaten Ling Mo and take all his things. Li Danyang thought maybe he didn't have the power to handle Long Fei, but he could definitely handle 1 man and 2 girls. He didn't see how to fight before, so he took a guess that Ling Mo knew some kung fu and the 2 girls didn't know how to fight. Since a conflict occurred and it was impossible to ask him to join them since he was not going to apologize in front of his men, then there was no point in being nice anymore. When Li Danyang yelled, the guys looked really hostile. Yu Yang covered his wound and hid behind Li Danyang looking very excited. He thought if Ling Mo was dead, Li Danyang wouldn't investigate on what had really happened. After hearing Li Danyang shout, 7 or 8 people came out. They were either students or staff members of the school. The weapons they were using were very simple and crude. Most of them were chair legs. Although these weren't ideal weapons to use, it was still good enough to beat someone up with it. Ling Mo sneered and held on tight to the knife. Li Danyang sneered and said, "Sorry, you can only count yourself unlucky that we ran out of supplies. Brother Wei said we can use supplies to change for a spot. Since our supplies were originally stolen by Long Fei, and you have some, we can only take yours since we are short of 7-8 portions." Supplies to change for a spot? Ling Mo paused and thought, what did that mean? But after listening to Li Danyang, his people looked at each other and then looked at Ling Mo. Their eyes were full of intention to kill. Apparently, the spot was really important to them. Ling Mo took a step back to create space between them. Kill him. After Li Danyang roared, the guys charged towards Ling Mo. Ling Mo was fearless, because he knew even if he couldn't handle the 20 people here, there were 20 zombies waiting outside as backup. It looked like Shana and Ye Lian were enjoying this. They just stood there not doing anything. His tentacles were now also effective against human beings. He used them to distract some of them, making them bump into each other when they charged at him. This shocked all the guys, but before they could recover from their surprise, Ling Mo seized the opportunity and stabbed the person in front of him. Ling Mo pulled out the knife, pulled the guy's arm towards him, and pushed him to the side, blocking some of the people who were charging. Li Danyang's words really worked. Despite someone already getting stabbed, the others still dashed towards Ling Mo crazily. But it's not easy to kill Ling Mo. Although it seemed like he was going to lose on almost every clash, with the help of the spirit tentacles, he managed to avoid death and instead managed to stab a few other people. Although Li Danyang might be fat, he moved quite fast. Ironically, he was causing Ling Mo the most problems. "Read My Girlfriend" is a zombie first act. While his subordinates surrounded Ling Mo, Li Danyang stood behind his subordinates while constantly looking for chances to sneak attack Ling Mo when it seemed that Ling Mo wasn't paying any attention to him. If it weren't for the fact that Ling Mo had spirit tentacles, he would have already been hit several times. Whenever Ling Mo would put his focus back on him, he would move back and hide behind his subordinates and shout to tell the others to keep attacking him. These people fought crazily because they were determined to take Ling Mo's stuff to get the spot. This was the difference between zombies and survivors. Survivors knew how to use weapons, and their moves were much more diverse, making survivors much harder to deal with. After battling for a minute, Ling Mo's tentacles started to get tired. He had to jump onto the round table in order to avoid being attacked from all angles. When Ling Mo jumped on the long table, Li Danyang roared and rolled like a pig onto the table and used the steel stick to hit Ling Mo's leg, which made Ling Mo have to jump in order to dodge. When Ling Mo jumped, Shana smiled and said, "Ye Lian, your brother Ling is so silly." Ye Lian hesitated. Seems like she was unable to retort, but she didn't want to agree with what Shana said. After a while she said, "He's also your brother Ling as well." Haha, Shana's smile made her innocent face look a bit evil. He's having a hard time right now, because the weapon he's using right now isn't good. The steel sticks are a lot longer than his knife. This was actually true. Ling Mo's knife was just too short. If he was fighting one-on-one, he wouldn't be having such a hard time, but right now he's surrounded by a group which made it really difficult. "Kill him." While Li Danyang shouted, the people started attacking again, but Ling Mo had already jumped off the table. At the same time, his tentacles confused the person in front of him, and he stabbed the guy right in the stomach. Seeing that both Ye Lian and Shana had pleased looks and were enjoying the show, Ling Mo felt a bit helpless. This was apparently Shana's idea. This gal has been extremely mischievous since she gained her memory, and he was very reluctant in controlling her. Seems like he's going to have to train her and let her know the price for not helping brother Ling Mo. Even if they don't help, he still has an ace in his sleeves. Outside the library, the 20 zombies stormed in as if they were summoned. "Fuck you. Do you really think you're the only one with backup?" After Ling Mo roared, the 20 zombies lined up properly at the door. A guy who had a sharper sight shouted, "Zombies! Zombies?" Ordinary zombies wouldn't take the initiative to look for food, unless they heard something or smelled blood. But mutated ones and advanced ones were a bit different, especially advanced zombies. According to what Ling Mo observed, they could hunt for food. For these people, they have mostly seen only ordinary zombies, and maybe if they were really unlucky, a mutated one, but they've never seen a bunch of them together rushing inside a specific place. The guys started to scream and had lost all the intentions of fighting. They just wanted to run away. Li Danyang's reaction was the fastest. Although everything happened so fast and the zombies were rushing in, he ran away immediately. When he was running, a dark shadow passed by and a person blocked his way. Ling Mo stood in front of him sneering and said, "Don't run. Before it was me versus everyone. Now that the teams are even, let's play something fair." "Dickhead, are you crazy? Those are zombies. Get the fuck out of my way." The security guard's face looked extremely twisted. If it wasn't for the fact that he didn't have red eyes, he would have looked like a zombie. While roaring, he used a steel stick and smashed towards Ling Mo's head. This fat guy actually had some strength, and by looking at his moves you could tell that he was attempting to kill Ling Mo. At the same time, the zombies went around Ye Lian and Shana and dashed towards the guys. Those who were stabbed tried to get up, but they were too slow. The zombies grabbed their heads and opened them up, instantly killing them. There were no chances of escaping from the zombies unless a human ripped off both of their arms. Usually they start to scream with despair once they got caught, and what happens next would contain an extremely bloody scene. The screams made Li Danyang crazier. But what made him feel even more despair was the weird dizziness that appeared again. He started to feel like this after he began fighting with Ling Mo, but he could never connect the feeling to Ling Mo. Having this kind of feeling during a fight was no different than being dead. Despair had covered Li Danyang. He realized that he had missed his attack, and at the same time a piercing pain came from his breast. The knife had stabbed into his heart. Ba-boom, ba-boom. The sound of his heartbeat became louder. He stared at Ling Mo pulling out the knife and then kicking his body away. But what surprised him the most besides his death was the zombie that went around Ling Mo and instead went after another guy who was escaping. What? He still didn't know what happened and just stopped breathing. Within a short period of time, the zombies had killed most of the people. The rest tried their best to fight, but they only ended up being pushed into a corner and getting surrounded. A guy suddenly saw Ling Mo, who was outside the circle behind the zombies. He immediately realized that the zombies would go past Ling Mo and his group without any intention of attacking them. This weird situation had gotten everyone's attention. They immediately shouted, "Save us! Save us!" But Ling Mo just raised his hands and put it down hard. There's a price to pay for being greedy. Screams and flesh flew everywhere. As the last few screams faded away, the library went dead with silence. Even though the guys had killed 4 zombies, Ling Mo didn't mind. The remaining 16 zombies all had some sort of smell on them, with blood and organ pieces dripping out of the slashed areas on their bodies. Shana took a deep breath, showing a bit of enjoyment, and told Ye Lian, "See, Brother Ling is very good." Yeah. Ye Lian nodded. She also showed a bit of excitement. The bloody scene of the fight gave the 2 zombie girls a strong thrill, as this was their instinct since they got infected. Looking at the ground that was covered in bodies, Ling Mo also felt a crazy thrill in his heart, but he took a deep breath and cooled down. These bodies that were lying on the ground were all caused by Ling Mo. Although this was not the first time he killed someone, it was still the first time he's been in such a bloody fight. After looking at the corpse on the ground, Ling Mo waved his hands to let the puppet zombies drag the corpses to the corner, while he went towards Ye Lian and Shana. He pinched both of their cheeks and spanked Shana's butt. Shana attempted to dodge, but her vision suddenly went blurry, and instead of dodging, she jumped into Ling Mo's chest, and at the same time got her but spanked. "If you keep teaching your sister Ye Lian bad things, I'll punish you." Shana had a puzzled look, then gave a devilish smile and asked, "How are you going to punish me?" This naughty behavior totally turned Ling Mo on. He never thought that Shana could be this seductive. It's such a shame that the place and time wasn't right, or else he would really punish her. Either way, he couldn't just let her get away with this. He had to punish her somehow. So Ling Mo moved his hands slowly up from her belly and slowly toward her breasts. His hands then made a strong grip. Shana moaned, then looked at Ye Lian with a pleading look and said, "Help me." Ye Lian hesitated and walked towards Ling Mo. Ling Mo immediately grabbed her, pulled her towards him, and grabbed her breast. Ye Lian's feels much better. Ling Mo sighed and tapped Shana's face. "Don't worry, I'll rub yours and make it grow bigger." Shana's looked at Ye Lian's breast for a while, then looked at her own. She realized there's a difference in size, so she rubbed her own and asked, "What happens when it gets bigger?" "You will get stronger fighting powers," Ling Mo said with a serious face. Shana thought and said, "Okay, fine. How many times a day do you need to rub it?" "It doesn't work if you rub it. It has to be me. I guess I can make some time to rub it for you 10 times each day." Ling Mo laughed in his mind. He thought, "Guess you have no knowledge about men and women after becoming a zombie." Ye Lian quickly said, "I also want to strengthen my fighting power." Ling Mo laughed in his mind, but he held his laughter and said with reluctance, "Okay, fine. I can rub it for you too." Ye Lian smiled after Ling Mo nodded. This was the first time Ling Mo saw a genuine smile on Ye Lian's face. Ling Mo paused there for a while. After a moment of silence, Ling Mo came back to reality. The smell of blood and organs began to make Ling Mo kind of uncomfortable. After commanding the 16 zombies to guard outside, Ling Mo took the 2 girl zombies inside the library. The difference between the inside part and outer part of the library was that the books in there were all limited edition. It's a shame that these guys didn't cherish these books. Ling Mo saw most of them only had the shells left. They probably used the paper to wipe their butts after taking a dump. Ling Mo thought that this was such a shameful behavior. The human race isn't completely dead yet. It's just that the rescue teams weren't that fast. As long as human beings didn't get wiped out, they would keep growing. These guys didn't respect the essence of culture. If you want to destroy a race, you don't need to kill them all. You just need to destroy their civilization and culture. These people deserve to die. Ling Mo cursed and went in. After a few steps, he saw that behind the bookshelves, the guys made a space and used the desks as bed and had put some soft things on it. To Ling Mo's surprise, he saw a bunch of girls gathered together. They all looked mediocre, but they were all naked. They were hugging each other and shaking while looking at them three. Apparently, they heard the scream from out there, but didn't have the courage to see what happened outside and got freaked out when 3 strangers walked in. Something must have happened with Li Danyang, and it must be the young guy in front of them who did it. The scream out there scared them. Right now, while facing Ling Mo, a few of them even started crying. Ling Mo knew he shouldn't look out of courtesy, but there were naked girls in front of him. He couldn't help but take a few more extra looks. Seems like these girls weren't being treated as humans and were apparently humiliated. Ling Mo quickly found some things under the bed. There were some clothes and some daily supplies. The biggest discovery was some food and water, but some of them the food had already either expired or became hard to swallow. Most of them were split into portions and put into bags. After counting, it had exactly 20 portions. These must be the portions Li Danyang was talking about, but from the amount that was here, apparently the girls and some of dead guys outside didn't get any food. Using supplies to exchange for a spot? This was probably why Tang, Xiao, Shui kept looking for food. What did this Wei Jun Yen guy do to make people so crazy? Ling Mo frowned and started to count. He then finally took out some chocolate and water. He looked back and told the girls, "These are for you." These words stopped the girls from crying. They looked at Ling Mo with wariness and didn't do anything until they saw Ling, leaving to look for somewhere else to go. One of the girls slowly crawled over. The moment she opened the bag of food and started stuffing in her mouth, the other girls also rushed to grab some food. This was not the first time Ling Mo had seen violated female survivors. But this situation seems to be unavoidable. Women were always deemed as a tool for sex. Under a huge pressure of living on, everyone needs a way to vent, and sexually abusing women was the best way to vent. After being treated so bad, the girls probably have very low self-esteem now. After searching, Li Danyang is apparently pretty poor, probably because of the location his base is at. His base was an educational building, so the supplies they could have collected would be very limited. To Ling Mo's surprise, within the limited amount of stuff he found, there was a flashlight that was powered by solar energy. Things that didn't require batteries was definitely good stuff. He also saw a nightstick, which is quite useless on zombies. Even Li Danyang didn't use it, so he didn't even bother taking it. Given that there wasn't much things to begin with, Ling Mo gave up trying to find stuff that would help him and decided to create a space in a corner since he planned to stay here for a night. After he cleared the space, he didn't seem to be able to see Shana and Ye Lian. Ugh, where did these two girls go now? Ling Mo walked towards the bookshelves and decided to change his point of view, but the moment he changed to Shana's view, the scene in front of him shocked him. A furry creature appeared in front of him. This scene drove Ling Mo crazy. Ling Mo realized it was a huge rat. The rat probably got attracted by the smell of blood, but then got discovered by Shana. He could tell by the blood on its mouth that it had eaten some flesh, but not sure if it's the zombies or the survivors. Ling Mo lost his interest after looking at it. He immediately looked around and predicted where they were and went to find them. But at this moment, the rat suddenly twitched and started jumping around, running towards Ye Lian. It was fast, but not as fast as advanced zombies, especially Ye Lian, who specializes in speed. Ye Lian just simply lifted her legs, and the rat had been kicked to the wall. It didn't move anymore after it dropped on the floor, just only twitching a bit on ground. A great amount of blood started to drip out from its mouth and eyes. Its body started to expand, some skin parts were broken through, and blood kept seeping out, looking kind of scary. After seeing what happened, Ling Mo suddenly thought of someone. Luanqui, the girl who made Shana change. Her situation was similar, went crazy and body was rotting at the same time. But Luanqui became like that because she was infected by a mutated zombie, but this rat just ate a bit of human flesh. Did it eat zombie flesh? Is it because animals couldn't tolerate this kind of virus? Ling walked through the bookshelves and found them in a storage room. They were curiously looking at the rat. Ling Mo was also curious as well. The rat was rotting inside and twitching with pain, and then after a few seconds, it didn't move anymore. At last, its body only had its skin left. The body had turned into a puddle of blood really fast. If you didn't see it, you wouldn't have believed it. Just an ordinary zombie virus could cause so much damage for rats. No wonder they didn't see a lot of animals. The animals must have eaten zombie flesh and died the same way. If the rat's meat was eaten by other rats, then it would also die. Ling Mo began to think carefully. He had an idea that probably the rat couldn't handle the virus due to it being so small. If it was much bigger like a human, it could probably tolerate the virus and mutate. Like Shana, who got infected by Luanqui, she had been able to tolerate the virus. Yet he's not sure if it's the same for everyone. He's not sure how big your body needs to be in order to be able to tolerate this type of virus. Either way, it was a good thing that rats weren't able to mutate, because if they could, humans might not be able to survive. When the rat died, Shana showed a bit of disappointment, as if she didn't have enough fun. She played around with the corpse and said with disappointment in her voice, "It died too fast." Ling Mo suddenly felt a chill, grabbed Ye Lian to stop her from going near the rat, and said, "Try to stay away those kind of things." Shana argued, "It's so little, it basically has zero threat towards us. What's the worst that could happen? There's nothing to be worried about." Yeah. Ye Lian hesitated and nodded. She agreed with Shana. Obviously, it wouldn't harm these two because the virus in the rat wasn't even 1% of what they both had in their bodies. Even though it might not be harmful to them, it might still be harmful to him. Ling Mo didn't want them to have this kind of curiosity since it's safer if they didn't take such big risks. After closing the storage room door, Ling Mo took them back. When Ling Mo got back to room with the girls, they had just finished eating and were putting on their clothes. When they saw Ling Mo, they quickly hid to the side. A girl was in the middle of pulling up her pants. When she saw her companions moving to the side to hide, she panicked and tried to run, but she tripped on her pants in the process and fell. Ling Mo paused a bit and then quickly helped her up. When the girl stood still, she'd back away a bit and looked a bit nervous before softly saying, "Sorry." Ling Mo knew a lot of girls and had interactions with them before, but this was the first time he's ever seen a half-naked girl in front of him. Although she wasn't hot, she was still a female. Ling Mo didn't think it was funny or anything. He actually felt sad for the girl since she has to survive under this kind of situation. He understood why they were so afraid of him. The guys would abuse the girls, and those guys were all killed by Ling Mo, which made them think that Ling Mo might be even worse than the guys that had abused them. They were scared that he might kill them too. They could still tolerate being abused, but death was scary for them. No one wants to die. If it weren't because they had wanted to live so bad, why else would they have tolerated being abused or being treated like sex objects till now? The girls saw Ling Mo staring at her, quivered, and then she hesitated while nervously grabbing the collars of her shirt to widen the middle parts which showed her cleavage. Please don't kill me. If you want, speaking to this point, she looked at Ye Lian and Shana. She wasn't really sure if she made the right move. After all, her looks were way worse than Ye Lian or Shana, and Ling Mo didn't look like the kind of person that Li Danyang was. Ling Mo got puzzled with her move and quickly said, "Stop doing this. I will clarify once again that I'm just here to stay for one night and leave tomorrow. I won't kill anyone." He really wanted to lose his virginity, but only if it's to Ye Lian and Shana. Although Ling Mo hadn't found a right moment to fuck them, he believes one day he will be able to. He can wait. After telling the girls that he wasn't going to end them once again, Ling Mo quickly took Ye Lian and Shana to their corner. As for whether the girls believed Ling Mo or not, he didn't have time to care about it. Although there were a lot of corpses in the library, the smell wouldn't spread outside of the library that fast since it was a closed space. They could only stay here for the night since it wasn't safe outside. Since Ling Mo used the zombie puppets as guards, he would have more secure feeling since he's in a building instead of an open place. Ling Mo was started planning and checking his supplies. The food should be able to last about 5 days. After looking into A1 and C3, we can leave. The girls, after making sure that Ling Mo had no intentions of doing anything to them, they all felt relieved. It's a luxury to have food and clothes to wear. Yet even after having both, they still didn't dare stay too close to Ling Mo. They waited until they saw him finally close his eyes and go to sleep before moving to a corner to sleep together. They all held on tight to their foods, even while they were sleeping. Just when the night sky was starting to cover X City University, a dark shadow appeared near by the library. He had no weapons on him, yet he was able to safely arrive at this place. Looking at the zombies at the door, this guy paused. Did Li Danyang and the guys get killed by the zombies? No. If they were killed by the zombies, why would the zombies come out? The guy thought for a while, looked at the library and thought of something. I come by every day, but this didn't happen till today. They might have been killed by Long Fei. But Long Fei couldn't be capable of this. If he wanted to destroy Li Danyang, he would have done it earlier. Something's weird. He thought for a while and then changed directions, dashing to the backside of the library. The speed and agility was really fast. This guy appeared on the backside of the library and grabbed onto a pipe to climb up to the second floor and then leaped in through a window. He got into the storage room. The dark shadow quickly came out from a door and went through the bookshelves. He quickly appeared at the corner where the girls were. Seeing the girls were sleeping, he paused and reached out to grab one of the girls. Before the girl could wake up, he covered her mouth and took her to the side. What happened here? He lowered his voice, nearly sticking to the girl's ear, so that nobody could hear. The girl was too scared to talk. The guy opened his palm and said, "Write it." The girl tried to get loose, but this guy showed no mercy. He punched her in the stomach and coldly said, "Write it quick." The girl was so hurt that she twitched and cried without making any sounds. She quivered with fear and slowly raised her hands and slowly used her fingers to write on the guy's palm. One boy and 2 girls. The dark shadow read with a slow voice and looked at the girl he was holding on to. The girl looked at the guy with fear. "Don't be afraid." The dark shadow said softly to the girl. He flipped his wrist. A cold beam of light appeared on his palm, and before he finished his words, the cold beam of light had sliced through the girl's throat. The girl's pupil shrinked. She twitched, and then her body fell down. Just when the girl's body touched the ground, a cold voice came out, "Don't move." The dark shadow froze. He remained in the position where it seemed like he was going to get up from picking something from the floor while holding onto the cold beam of light. The person who talked, of course, was Ling Mo. He was looking at the dark shadow that had suddenly appeared. The dark shadow would probably never have thought that even though he was very careful, it still wasn't good enough. When he had opened the door, Ye Lian and Shana had already opened their eyes and seen everything. Although the sound that came from the door opening was very quiet, 2 advanced zombies in a silent library could still hear it. Since they share all 5 cents, if Ye Lian and Shana found something, Ling Mo would also find out as well. When the guy was interrogating the girl, Ling Mo had already quietly picked up his knife and slowly walked over, looking into the storage room carefully through the bookshelves. In between the bookshelves, he had already saw that this guy was threatening the girl. It was a shame that the guy had already killed the girl before he could get there on time. "Who are you?" Ling Mo pulled his knife in front of him, preparing to fight. This guy really must be something since he could easily get in. In the morning, Ling Mo already knew that there were no doors from the back of the library. "Who the hell are you?" The guy's voice made people feel uncomfortable. Through the moonlight, Ling Mo could somehow see that the guy had long hair which nearly covered his shoulder. Ling Mo frowned. He felt familiar with this kind of style, but just couldn't think who the guy was at the moment. 2 shadows appeared behind Ling Mo. It was Ye Lian and Shana. They were in a fan-shaped position which blocked the guy's way out. "What? Isn't this the school babe Ye Lian? So you guys are together?" The guy looked up and said with surprise, and then looked at Ling Mo and stood up and said, "Since we are alumni, let's not do this." Ling Mo frowned and roared, "Don't move." From the outside, the guy didn't seem harmful, but he gave Ling Mo a lot of pressure somehow. Ling Mo felt the eye under the hair was like a snake staring at all his fatal spots. It felt like once he moves, he could probably threaten his life. This was the first time another human being was capable of giving him this kind of feeling. Wei Jun Yen. Ling Mo suddenly thought of this guy. It's not the first time Ling Mo heard of this guy, but besides knowing that he was trying to do something big, Ling Mo didn't know anything else. He was actually just curious about what superpowers this guy had. After all, he hasn't seen anyone who possessed a really powerful superpower. As a person who also possesses superpowers, Ling Mo was of course very curious about this guy. But Ling Mo never thought that this was how he would meet this guy. After realizing that Ling Mo knew his name, Wei Jun Yen didn't show any surprise but instead laughed and said, "Seems like you know me, but sorry I don't know you. Could you introduce yourself a bit?" Although he was felt relieved in the beginning, after being roared by Ling Mo, he didn't dare move anymore because he felt that if he really moved, Ling Mo would take some kind action against him. "What are you doing here?" Ling Mo didn't feel like making friends with him. He creeped in the library and killed a girl. Apparently he didn't have any good intentions. Ling Mo actually knew pretty clear that the girl had told Wei Jun Yen everything, and since Li Danyang works for Wei Jun Yen, Ling Mo wanted to see how he was going to deal with this. Although Wei Jun Yen could be dangerous, it didn't matter to Ling Mo since he thinks that he is more powerful. Are Li Danyang and the guys really dead? Wei Jun Yen asked. Although it seemed like he cared, Ling Mo could tell he didn't really care from his tone of voice. Ling Mo still kept his eyes on him and said, "Yup, they deserved it because they were greedy." Wei Jun Yen didn't seem to be surprised. Instead, he seemed to be interested in Ling Mo. "You must be very powerful. Li Danyang had a lot of people under him, and you killed them all?" For no reason. When Wei Jun Yen asked him this question, Ling Mo felt goosebumps. This guy gave him a very unpleasant feeling. "Oh yeah, since you killed them all, you must have all their supplies. Don't worry, I'm not asking for it. I'm just wondering if you wanted to join our base." Base? Of course Ling Mo wouldn't join, but before he could refuse, Wei Jun Yen said, "Since you guys are from X City University, you know what it's like in school. No food, no water, no supplies, and everyone was basically waiting to die. Unlike them, I kept myself busy these days. Our team had created a base. After we collect the things we need, we can supply ourselves." "Oh, so that's it." Ling Mo sneered in his mind. It's just giving false hope to those survivors. There was no way he could create a base that could self-supply that easily. This was just a trap he had set up, letting those ignorant survivors collect things to share with only a select few people by letting the survivors fight each other for a spot. This way it looked fair, but in reality, it was actually very cruel. Hearing to this point, Ling Mo felt that he didn't like this guy at all, so he interrupted and said, "Don't bother. I don't like being controlled. If you're done, you can leave. This is my place. It's not a place you can come whenever you want." "Whoa, now that wasn't very nice. Since you don't want to join, then the supplies you took away shouldn't be in your hands. So why don't we talk about that?" Before he finished talking, Ling Mo felt a chill. The dark shadow suddenly disappeared. A ding sound came from where Ye Lian was standing. Wei Jun Yen had failed the surprise attack, then back away several steps, and then leaned on the bookshelf looking at Ye Lian with shock. Ye Lian's machete was in front of her staring at Wei Jun Yen. Wei Jun Yen was really surprised. He had thought he could avoid being interrogated by attacking someone else besides Ling Mo while leading conversation, so Ling Mo wouldn't be prepared. But to his surprise, Ye Lian was so fast and so much stronger than ordinary people that her counterattack gave a shockwave to him, which caused pain in his chest. Wei Jun Yen thought, "This beauty is really something. Is she a psychic?" Ling Mo took this chance to see what weapon Wei Jun Yen was using. It was just a useless razor. It was pasted on his palm with the sharp side facing out. Apparently his superpower was moving extremely fast. If Ye Lian hadn't become an advanced zombie, his attack might have worked. Ling Mo didn't expect Wei Jun Yen to be so shameless, attacking Ye Lian without saying any words. Even though he had failed, it still pissed off Ling Mo. Ling Mo held tightly onto his knife and dashed. Although it was too dark to see him, Ling Mo used his powers to change his sight to Ye Lian's viewpoint. As a zombie, Ye Lian's ability to see in the dark was very good. Although it's not easy to look from a third person's point of view, Ling Mo was already used to it. At the same time, he used his invisible tentacles to wrap Wei Jun Yen. Seeing Ling Mo dashing towards him, his disgusting face sneered. But when he wanted to move, he felt like he bumped into an invisible wall, and his vision blurred. The shock made him back off. Bang! The bookshelf shook, some books fell to the ground. Wei Jun Yen raised his palm at this critical point. Ding! Ling Mo's short knife slashed towards Wei Jun Yen's palm. Although Wei Jun Yen had almost blocked Ling Mo's attack, it had still cut him on the arm. The blood started to spray out. Wei Jun Yen was totally awakened from the huge pain from his arm. The moment he got awakened, Ling Mo saw the black shadow flash, and he lost sight of Wei Jun Yen again. He felt something suddenly appear behind him. Ling Mo immediately used the spirit tentacles to dodge Wei Jun Yen's attack, but his back had a ripping pain. He was slashed from the back. Wei Jun Yen's ability was really weird. It was basically like teleporting. What a fucking bullshit power. Of course he could literally teleport, but he could accelerate to an extremely fast speed in a short distance. Just when Ling Mo dodged the attack, Shana and Ye Lian took action. Two blades of light cut towards Wei Jun Yen. But Wei Jun Yen was also really fast. When he heard the who, he dodged to the side immediately. But Ling Mo wouldn't give him any chance. He used his invisible spirit tentacles again to distract him. His moves suddenly stagnated, and he got cut by Shana from the back, but he still managed to avoid getting hit on fatal spot and jumped out the window without hesitation. He knew he would be killed if he had kept on fighting. The second floor wasn't that high, but you still might get hurt if you jump down. Ling Mo looked outside the window and saw Wei Jun Yen rolling on the grass. He didn't leave right away. Instead looked at Ling Mo and pointed the middle finger at him. This irritated Ling Mo. He didn't jump down also, but instead he controlled the zombies outside to charge towards Wei Jun Yen. Wei Jun Yen had planned to take a break down there, although he was smiling after he jumped down, but his face looked really scary. He thought he could easily take down Ling Mo and ask for whatever he wanted, but he didn't realize that this one boy and the two girls beside him were that powerful. He even began to think that all three of them were psychics. But why didn't he know this about any of them? This just didn't add up in Wei Jun Yen's mind. He was really active in this area. Basically, all the survivor groups that were good enough should already be under his control. He should have known about their powers. But he didn't regret attacking them, because he was not the kind of guy who's willing to be under another's control. Being dominated by Ling Mo made him very upset, but what made him angrier was that he was forced to jump out the window. He provoked Ling Mo just to vent. Anyway, if Ling Mo jumped out as well, he would already be far away from there. But seeing the amount of zombies shocked him. He didn't associate this with Ling Mo. What the fuck? Wei Jun Yen wiped his back. Forgot there's zombies around. He ferociously stared at Ling Mo and rolled to the green area and ran through the road. But under Ling Mo's control, the zombies started dashing too. One of them had gotten really close to Wei Jun Yen. Wei Jun Yen kind of hurt his feet when he jumped out the window, so he was a bit slower than before. The zombie body slammed him and grabbed his arm. Being grabbed like this was no different than being sentenced to death. But Wei Jun Yen was a ruthless guy. He knew if he had attempted to fight the zombie, he wouldn't be able to escape later. At this critical moment, he waved his hand and cut off his arm. Blood started to splash, but he didn't even look back and started to use his superpowers again. Now, Ling Mo had looked clearly. He really can accelerate very, very fast. Sort of like teleporting, after a few minutes, he had already left the zombies way behind. Seeing the zombies getting out of his control area, he stopped trying to capture Wei Jun Yen. Although Wei Jun Yen lost an arm, Ling Mo didn't seem satisfied. TL, once again, thanks for the donations. Another bonus chapter will be released later today, so enjoy. Wei Jun Yen's ability was definitely related to speed. It could be really effective towards normal zombies or ordinary people. Unfortunately, Ling Mo was neither. No matter how fast you were, if your sight or judgment got blocked, that advantage would disappear. Although Ling Mo wasn't really good at close combat, he at least had 2 advanced zombies and more than 10 zombie puppets to help him with each battle. If Wei Jun Yen hadn't cut off his own arm, Ling Mo's zombies would have ripped in pieces. While controlling the zombies to walk back, Ling Mo frowned and looked over his shoulder. Shana and Ye Lian came over and looked at his wound. Then Ye Lian said, "Good. At least it's not deep. It's just a scratch on the surface." Shana took off Ling Mo's coat and rolled his t-shirt sleeves to see the wound. From Shana's vision angle, Ling Mo could see his wound. Wei Jun Yen had just made a shallow cut, which didn't cause any big harm. Shana used her finger to wipe the blood on him and then suddenly put it in her mouth. "Brother Ling, your blood tastes very sweet. Hey, don't even think about it." Ling Mo tried to avoid the desperate look on her face. Seems like zombie instincts can't be changed. Although Shana had never tried human blood before, she still seemed like she couldn't resist after touching it. After listening to Ling Mo, she reluctantly promised, but she kept sucking on her finger. Apparently, the human body was very tasty to zombies. Thinking of how Wei Jun Yen fled with panic, Ling Mo frowned. Ling Mo really wanted to kill Wei Jun Yen even though he won through their exchange in combat. He only got a cut from Wei Jun Yen, while he forced Wei Jun Yen to jump off the second-floor building and then also made him cut off his arm while fleeing for his life. The guy attempted to attack Ye Lian, which is one of Ling Mo's taboo. Ling Mo didn't want to fight in the beginning since he hadn't had any conflicts with anyone before the fight, so it wasn't necessary to start one. But right now, Ling Mo realized that he needed to change his mindset. Even in the current end-of-the-world situation right now, he's still treating others the same way he used to before the apocalypse, which makes him constantly being attacked and forced to fight back. In reality, after having superpowers, he was no longer a normal person. With lots of food on him and 2 beauties with him, he can already be considered as a cash cow. After coming to the university, Ling Mo has seen so many things from the survivors. Life, hunger, and fear were the factors that awakened the dark side of the survivors. As for survivors like Wei Jun Yen, they became arrogant and cold-blooded. Although Ling Mo didn't think it was wrong to stick with his ethic values, but when it came to Li Danyang or Wei Jun Yang, he knew that he couldn't treat them the same way he treated regular people anymore. Ling believed he was very strong now, much more powerful than the piece of shit Wei Jun Yen. He wasn't the one being forced to jump out the window or forced to cut off his own arm or flee like a little bitch. That was all Wei Jun Yen. Thinking to this point, his heart started to get excited. "Brother Ling, let me help you blow." Ye Lian saw Ling Mo frowning, and she thought he was in pain, so she planned to blow on his wound to see if it would make him feel better. TL, oh, okay, I'm pretty sure I wasn't the only one with a dirty mind who thought this was going to go differently. She smelled the blood, and her eyes turned a bit red. Apparently, she liked the smell of blood. She knew Ling Mo would get upset, so she backed off and pointed at Ling Mo and said, "Brother Ling, you seem to be very yummy." The chill from the wound awakened Ling Mo. "Silly girl. You can't eat me. If you want, you can eat something else in the future." He felt a lot happier. He rubbed Ye Lian's brain and flirted with her. But Ye Lian didn't understand what he was talking about, just nodded and said, "Okay." A wound like this was nothing to be afraid of. Ling Mo took out a bandage and then wrapped it around his wound. After treating his wound, Ling Mo went to the girls that were in the corner. The girls had awakened from the noise caused by the fighting, and then they realized someone from their group had disappeared, which made them all end up quivering. "Do you guys know Wei Jun Yen?" Ling Mo asked directly. Although Wei Jun Yen lost an arm, but Ling Mo didn't want to let him go. That arm could only be considered his interest. After all losing an arm, Wei Jun Yen still might hold a grudge against him. It would still be annoying if the guy wanted to get revenge on him, since this university was such a big place. He didn't want to be on constant alert, all the time afraid that a guy with superpowers could attack him at any time. So instead of waiting for him, Ling Mo thought that it's best if he could kill him while he's currently in a weak position. The girls were quivering. One of them nodded. Ling Mo thought so. From Wei Jun Yen's personality, he wouldn't try to avoid those girls when he's negotiating with the girls. "Do you know where the base is?" Ling Mo looked at the girl and asked. The girl looked at Ling Mo with fear and said, "I think it's at the swimming pool." "Swimming pool?" Ling Mo paused and looked at the map that Lin Luanqui gave him, turned on a flashlight, and quickly found where the swimming pool was. To his surprise, the swimming pool was near the A1 education building. Seems like even if they didn't meet today, they were going to meet each other sooner or later. That was because going to the A1 building was part of Ling Mo's plan. He had wanted to get some more gels for Ye Lian and Shana. Let's not wait until tomorrow morning. If he could go out at night, I definitely can too. With the help of his zombie puppets and 2 advanced zombies, he could easily go out at night. Not to mention the fact that if there were a lot of zombies, most of them probably were already either attracted by Wei Jun Yen or removed by him on the way back to his base. As for the girls in the library, he could only let themselves figure a way out. He had already given them enough food to sustain themselves for a few days. After he recovered his stamina and spirit power, Ling Mo planned out everything and took Ye Lian and Shana out of the library. This was the first time he ever went out at night, but from a zombie's vision, everything looked clear as day. There were still some zombies roaring outside, which made it kind of creepy. Zombies were much more active at nighttime. Ling Mo quickly found the place where Wei Jun Yen lost his arm. He could see blood stains extending to the bush. But after following the blood stains, Ling Mo saw a piece of cloth. Seems like he did some first aid treatment to his arm, and the blood stains had stopped there. "Too bad I already know where your place is. There's no point in hiding." Ling Mo looked out and sneered. TL. Well guys, this is the end of the donation bonus chapters for today. Once again, thank you to everyone that donates. As an indoor swimming pool, X City University's swimming pool wasn't only just big, but it also had a good environment. Especially since it was the perfect place to hide in right now. The man-made river surrounding the swimming pool gym could really block the zombies out. Even though the darkness of nighttime made the swimming pool gym look pretty creepy, the shut door of the swimming pool gym implied that someone was living in there. There's a locker room in the gym with tons of people were sitting there. There's a ka sound coming out. A light from small fire keeps glowing on and off. From the fire's light, one could somehow see a few guys that showed tiredness with blood covering them. Who is it? Who's making that sound? Stop using that shitty lighter, okay? Someone yelled with a low voice, and then the kaka sound stopped. Another person started to complain. There are 3 groups of survivors here, right? 17 people have already died trying to get here, and then? Where's Brother Wei? Stop it. Brother Wei created a place like this to let us stay. What more do you want? Another guy said, "We have water here. There's a river right outside. All the zombies nearby have been killed. There's some supplies inside. Ask yourself this. Did the place you live before have a bed and mattress? We gave some food. And this place over here was already pretty good before, so he didn't actually create it," the guy argued. "Stop arguing. Brother Wei will tell us everything once all the survivor groups arrive. By the way, his team is also here, so he wouldn't just hang us out to dry. Oh yeah, I heard that the garden in the back was being developed. Is it going to be a farm? How about the seeds? Is Brother Wei going to find it?" The conversation started to warm up. Although they were tired, being able to make it to this place made them excited. Right at this moment, the door suddenly opened. Someone popped its head in and said, "Sister Lin?" "Coming." Someone answered from the locker room. A shadow popped up and went out. There were 3 people on the hallway. 2 of them was Tang Xiao Shui, and he Peng. And the skinny small person that's been called out was apparently Lin Luanqui. But she was wearing a cap that covered her face, so no one could really tell it was her. Lin Luanqui seemed to have recovered from the injury on her arms. She leaned on the wall and asked, "So, Wei Jun Yen isn't back yet?" Tang Xiao Shui shook his head and, "No, but Sister Lin, isn't it too risky for us to come here? After all the bitch-ass couple. Don't worry, they were killed, so be it. Right now the 2 of you are the leaders, just don't panic. Wei Jun Yen wouldn't care if they're dead or not." Lin Luanqui waved her hands and interrupted. He Peng looked at Lin Luanqui with admiration. Even his tone of voice was full of enthusiasm. "Sister Lin, I admire you so much. Seriously, I think you are as powerful as Brother Ling." "Stop bullshitting." Lin Luanqui laughed and used her cap to cover her face even more. "Are you guys sure you want to get involved? I think I was pretty clear on how dangerous this could be. It's not too late to cut me loose right now and stop this, because if my assassination fails, you both would also be considered involved. Sister Lin, no need to say anything. I believe you know what you're doing. You don't do things that you aren't confident enough in doing. Plus, all those supplies were gotten from survivors risking their lives. Why should Wei Jun Yen have them all? He used people to work for him. Why can't we use him instead? Tang Xiao Shui's tone of voice was really firm. Actually, once he brought Lin Luanqui back with him, he knew that she was up to something. He didn't exactly know what she was planning, but to his surprise, Lin Luanqui killed the couples the moment they arrived. The group went into chaos. Even Tang Xiao Shui thought Lin Luanqui was crazy. But once Lin Luanqui told him her plan, he sincerely admired Lin Luanqui. She not only predicted Wei Jun Yen's intention, but also planned to blend into this group and find some chance to kill Wei Jun Yen. To do this, she integrated into a group and led him and Peng to be in the front while she hid behind like a normal survivor. In order to come here, they lost some people, but this kind of sacrifice was necessary. The fact was that if it weren't for Lin Luanqui, the couples might have gotten more people killed. In the beginning, she didn't really believe her prediction was right, but after meeting the other groups who came here first, she realized Wei Jun Yen was really just using them. Using his superpowers as bait to make the people in the central area collect supplies for him in order to retain a spot in a sanctuary. While collecting the supplies, most of the survivors would get killed. In the end, there wouldn't be much people left to share the supplies with. This is a very ruthless plan. This plan would also work because of the selfishness of the survivors. As time goes by, the supplies around becomes less. People then start to worry about what happens afterwards. And at this moment, Wei Jun Yen would appear to show up with his superpowers. People would feel hope once again. Most survivors would be thinking, as long as I'm alive, it doesn't matter if other people die. Peng were crystal clear that Lin Luanqui hid herself just to get a chance to kill Wei Jun Yen. As long as Wei Jun Yen dies, Lin Luanqui could be in charge due to her superpowers, just like what she did after killing the bitch-ass couples. Lin Luanqui sighed. She seemed to be a bit worried. This was because the longer it took for Wei Jun Yen to show up, the more survivors would arrive. Once it reaches a certain amount, it would be hard to gain control if she did manage to kill him. You just want to kill me. Right now I want to kill you. Seems like we were meant to be enemies. Lin Luanqui smiled. What Lin Luanqui didn't know was that someone had appeared in bathroom by jumping in from the window. This guy wasn't just anyone, it was the boss of the base, Wei Jun Yen. He had finally reached the bathroom and sat on the ground with pain. Blood had already soaked his sleeve. The huge pain almost made him pass out. Fuck, I can never let anyone know that I got hurt, at least not when I'm my weakest right now. Wei Jun Yen's face was pale, and his breathing seemed to be in a mess. He rested for a bit, and then crawled to the sink to get the first aid kit to patch himself up. He knew that a lot of survivors had already arrived, so he didn't dare take the front door in case they saw him. Everyone followed him due to his superpowers. Who knows what they would do if they saw him hurt right now? The upside of this whole situation was that he had placed his first aid here in the bathroom instead of the other rooms. After the apocalypse, the toilets could no longer be used, so temporarily it was the safest place for him at the moment. After treating the wound, he'll sneak out and go to his room to recover. As for the survivors, he believes his team can handle everything even though he's not there. The survivors had walked a great distance to reach this place. There wouldn't be a reason for them to cause problems. Wei Jun Yen's plan was to gather all the survivors quickly and get rid of the ones that were dead weight. No point for useless people to be alive. The supplies those survivors gathered would be able to make him stay here for a long time. He was now kind of X-City University's king. After realizing he had superpowers, he's been seeking a different kind of way to survive. Even though he could use his superpowers to escape, he didn't like being alone. He was the type of guy that enjoyed the moment of being surrounded by people who had looks filled with fear or admiration, especially from those people who were teachers or classmates that were handsome, pretty, and rich before the apocalypse. They were the ones that gave him a sense of inferiority. Seeing those looks made him want to stay with people. But the situation right now made him unable to enjoy the moment. The supplies were running out and the environment was only getting worse. After coming out of the swimming gym, Wei Jun Yen had finally figured out something cruel. Although there's not a lot of supplies left in X-City University, but if they were all gathered, the amount of stuff could still be considered a lot. It might not be a lot if it's shared with all the survivors, but if the number of survivors become less, then the supplies would last for a long time. After considering, Wei Jun Yen figured a way that could kill two birds with one stone. Contact all the groups of survivors and give people hope that his superpower could help save them. To get protection from him, people would be willing to do their best to gather supplies to live under his rule of using supplies in exchange for spot in the sanctuary. Through this process, he not only makes the survivors collect supplies for him, but he also reduces the amount of survivors at the same time. And everything worked out pretty well. In order to collect things, groups would have their own little civil wars which would eliminate some people, using different methods to force them to go look for supplies or rob other groups. Although a lot of survivors had already arrived, Wei Jun Yen was still not satisfied. He had wanted to speed things up by going to each of the groups again, but out of his expectations, he was stopped by Ling Mo and had almost gotten killed. Wei Jun Yen was holding a deep grudge. He planned to take revenge once he recovered. It didn't matter whether he lost an arm, as long as his right arm was still there. But just when he was wrapping his arm with bandages, he felt a sudden chill from his back. His body became paralyzed. He looked up in the mirror. From the mirror, he could see a guy at the window. The person was Ling Mo. TL. Surprise motherfucker. God damn it. Wei Jun Yen cursed in his mind. He never thought that Ling Mo would come after him. Why didn't the zombies outside the library stop him? Why didn't the zombies on the way stop him either? He also had another question. How the fuck did he find him? But afterwards he immediately thought of the girls in the library and became filled with regret. Should have killed all those sluts. He looked at the door right away and started counting the distance. He was already no match against the three of them when he had both arms, not to mention that he has only one right now. When Ling Mo jumped off the window, Wei Jun Yen dashed to the door. Ling Mo had finally caught up with Wei Jun Yen. There was definitely no way in hell he was just going to let him run away. Although Wei Jun Yen was fast, Ling Mo quickly used his spirit tentacles to shut the door. This was something Ling Mo had practiced several times before, although he couldn't do anything extreme like Darth Vader's chokehold, but just shutting the door was fine. This shocked Wei Jun Yen, but it was too late for him to stop. Bang! He rammed himself onto the door. Wei Jun Yen, who was currently dizzy and bleeding now due to running into the door, knew that it was too late to open the door, so he quickly kneeled down and rolled over. Just when he was about to get up, a cold beam of light went to his throat, and a black shadow appeared in front of him. Shana creepily smiled while looking down at him. The other window on the other side was the only other exit, which was currently blocked by Ye Lian now. After the door was closed by Ling Mo, he took out the short knife and looked at Wei Jun Yen after Shana had caught him at knife point. With a sneer on his face, he said, "Unless you can make that toilet flush your ass away, there's no way in hell you're escaping this time." Even though Wei Jun Yen was ruthless and arrogant, it didn't mean he could remain calm when his life was being threatened. In fact, he is quivering with shame right now. Fuck your mother. At the moment when he knew he was about to die, Wei Jun Yen exploded towards Ling Mo. He knew that close combat was Ling Mo's weakness, so he pushed his superpowers to the limit and dashed towards Ling Mo. Since Ling Mo was determined to kill him, he was already well prepared. He hadn't used any spiritual power when he was following Wei Jun Yen, so now he was at 100%. His spirit tentacles became the bane to psychics that concentrated on agility and speed. Wei Jun Yen's attack had failed more than 10 times due to the spirit tentacles. He kept having illusions. The disturbance made him feel like he eating tons of flies. And every time when his attack would fail, Ling Mo would seize the opportunity to counterattack. What drove him crazy was that every time when Ling Mo could kill him, he would stop as if he was a cat playing with a mouse. Every time when he saw a beam of cold light, Wei Jun Yen could hear the "puh" sound from his face. That sound was Ling Mo using his knife to slap his face. He got slapped about 10 times already. The extreme humiliation and anger drove Wei Jun Yen crazy. The sound he made when he bumped onto the wall got Lin Luanqui and the other two guys' attention. What happened? Lin Luanqui looked towards the washroom with surprise. That washroom was not being used by anyone anymore, and no zombies would go there. Why were there noises coming from that place? Tang Xiao Shui and He Peng Peng also had no idea, and Lin Luanqui had already went towards the washroom, frowning her eyebrows. She held on tight with her knife and slowly walked towards the door. When she got there, she held on the doorknob and leaned on the door to listen. It's not zombies. Those sounds of metal clashing was absolutely not zombies. It was more like someone's fighting inside. Lin Luanqui had a bad feeling. She slowly twisted the knob and kicked the door open. Inside the bathroom, Wei Jun Yen was struggling. His path to retreat was blocked. The fear and despair of seeing death coming made him look miserable. I don't want to die. I don't deserve to die. Wei Jun Yen's mind kept roaring. He wanted so desperately to rip Ling Mo into pieces. Yet Ling Mo seemed to be having the fun. He was right in front of him, yet he couldn't even touch his clothes. We both have superpowers, but why is he so much more powerful? Wei Jun Yen fit unwitting. Too bad he doesn't know that in order for Ling Mo to control the zombies, he had to put himself in a danger multiple times as well as change his sleeping habits to train his powers. He made much more effort than other psychics, went through more danger too. Especially after he found Ye Lian, he kept figuring ways to use his puppet skills. He kept practicing whenever he had time. Technically, he never stopped practicing since he was always connected to Shana and Ye Lian. But Wei Jun Yen just thought of how to crush others when he had superpowers, not even bothering on improving himself. He just apparently believed he was the best and could defeat anybody, even Ling Mo. At this point, he still didn't bother to think maybe the crux of the problem was himself. Right at this moment, the washroom door suddenly opened. It was Lin Luanqui. To her surprise, the people who were fighting were people she knew. So she paused there when she saw Wei Jun Yen and Ling Mo. Wei Jun Yen and Ling Mo also paused. Wei Jun Yen quickly pulled himself together. His body shook in front of Lin Luanqui. Although he hadn't gotten a clear look on who it was, his razor had already begun to slash towards Lin Luanqi's neck. He only had one train of thought right now, and that was to kill this person and run. This was the only chance for him to stay alive. But Lin Luanqui reacted quickly. She fired her superpower bullet. Wei Jun Yen's speed became very slow, just like normal people. At this moment, Lin Luanqui just lifted her arm to use her knife to block Wei Jun Yen's razor. Ding! When the sound came out, Wei Jun Yen's pupil shrinked. If he couldn't kill Lin Luanqui in one attack, that meant that his attack had been blocked. Right at that moment, Ling Mo's knife had stabbed through his back. The sharp knife popped out from his chest with blood. Gare. Wei Jun Yen looked at Lin Luanqui with despair. When Lin Luanqui lifted her cap and revealed her delicate face, Wei Jun Yen looked fearful. But he couldn't talk anymore. When Ling Mo pulled out the knife, his body started to lose functionality. In front of Ling Mo and Lin Luanqui, his body slowly crumbled down to the floor. When Wei Jun Yen fell, Ling Mo looked up at Lin Luanqui. After realizing it's Lin Luanqui, Lin Mo paused and asked, "Hey, what are you doing here? What are you doing here?" And Wei Jun Yen? Lin Luanqui looked shocked. Everything happened so fast. Although she had blocked Wei Jun Yen's attack, she hadn't pulled herself together yet from the shock. Why is Ling Mo here? Why is Wei Jun Yen here? Why would they fight? Questions kept coming up in her mind. The way she was looking at Ling Mo seemed complicated. Tang Xiao Shui and He Peng came up, and when they saw Ling Mo, they looked surprised as well. "Brother Ling, you guys are here too." Ling Mo paused, and then looked at Lin Luanqui. Lin Luanqui and the other two must have came here for some reason. After figuring the connections, Ling Mo realized that Lin Luanqui pretended to leave, and then came back to find Tang Xiao Shui and He Peng. Her plan must have been to use the survivor group Tang Xiao Shui and He Peng was in and get a chance to approach Wei Jun Yen. Just couldn't figure out why she wanted to do that. What made Lin Luanqui feel very complicated was that she made such a great effort in coming here to kill Wei Jun Yen, but he ended up getting killed by Ling Mo's hands, and in such a miserable way. Everyone looked at each other. After a while, Lin Luanqui grabbed Tang Xiao Shui and He Peng in and closed the door. Wei Jun Yen died too suddenly. Her plan had been messed up, so before she figured something out, she couldn't let other people see Wei Jun Yen's corpse.